Okay, there it go. Now we on. So check this out. With all due respect, this is Hip Hop Police Docu-Series Day 13, CS2 Back, and the World Star Hip Hop video. We're going to reiterate a lot of different things, and then we drop this documentary on World Star Hip Hop. Let me make sure that I got the paperwork. No, that's from Marsh, man. I own a lot of intellectual property. I teach a class, a curriculum that's available on YouTube. You got to pay for the exclusive student of life. Okay, this hits your Brennan. These is the masters, the ownership papers from the Copyright Office, intellectual property. Oh, WAC 100 and the snitch allegation. Y'all see that? PA number. Yeah, you can type that in the copyright.gov, and I own it. So we'll get into breaking it down, and then we'll get into the actual video that we released on worldstarhiphop.com. So let's go to, oh, this is going to be a good one. I hope you guys is all hitting that like button. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into the actual case. You know what I'm saying? So let's share this with you guys real quick. And then present. All right, there we go. Let's start here.
I called Mr. Reggie Wright. Reggie, he said, whack, I got a few DAs down there. He goes, his first, last name, date of birth, whatever, January.
Let's run that back one more time. He calls who?
I called Mr. Reggie Wright. Reggie, he said, whack, I got a few DAs down there. He goes, his first, last name, date of birth, whatever, January, whatever, 86, right? Great. Reggie goes and runs it, comes on my.
So he's working with his mentor, Reggie Wright Jr., the same Reggie Wright Jr. who wore a wire on the mayor of Compton for the FBI. So he has those type of ties, right? Same Reggie Wright Jr. that was a jailer and a Compton PD officer, right? The same pork butt that took Tanisha Swan, drove her to go talk to the feds and tell them that her baby daddy, her husband, Marion Suge Knight, told her to pick up some cash money so it couldn't be traced. He wants retaliation for Pop. He wants to knock down Biggie Smalls. So the puppet master, Reggie Wright Jr., is who he calls to get his intel. The same Reggie Wright Jr. who has debriefed and proffered with the police, federal authorities, sheriffs, so many times he can't remember every FBI agent that he ever sat down with. That means there's a lot of meetings with these FBIs. But this man uniquely, that he gets his information from uniquely, is the Orca, short for orchestrator. This is what he proclaims. He is a witness in the Keefe D grand jury, but also prime suspect in the murder of Tupac Shakur. How convenient that the courts in Las Vegas, Greg Kading, Detective Darren Dupree felt that even though he's a suspect, that he should be involved with the investigation of Keefe D in the unaliving the Tupac Shakur. And Reggie Wright Sr., who Reggie Wright Jr. admits he gave the 40 Glock to that was taken off one of the outlaws by a Santa Monica police officer. Reggie Wright Jr. sends the gun, sends Kevin Hackey to keep tabs on the 40 Glock. The Santa Monica police station sent it to the FBI. The ballistics are tested. The gun came back clean, as was the deal. He tells them, Kevin Hackey, you can come pick up the gun for release. It's been released. He goes, picks up the gun. He gets the gun, unbeknownst to Reggie Wright. Kevin Hackey was an FBI and an ATF agent. He was undercover for the FBI and the ATF. So he takes it to his handlers, and they run what they gonna run, and they give it to him to give back to Reggie Wright Jr. So the FBI and the ATF are very aware that Kevin Hackey was undercover and that Kevin Hackey gave Reggie Wright the gun back because that was their instructions. Reggie Wright says he didn't give it back to the outlaw. I think it was Hussein Fatal. Rest in peace, Fatal Hussein. But he don't give it back to whom it was taken off of. He gives it to his father. Kevin Hackey said that the bullets and shells left at the Tupac unaliving scene matched with that same 40 Glock. Reggie said he gave that 40 Glock to Reggie Wright Sr. Yet, he's also an informant and a suspect in the unaliving of the notorious Big. Suge said if you find the shooters from one, you find the shooters from both. You solve both murders. He won't say nothing, but he said that. The police. Now, let's talk about Reggie Sr. real quick, because we're going to be transitioning in. I want it all to tie in. So, the right way security officers made sure that Pac didn't have a gun. 24 of right way bodyguards, and you leave Tupac without a pistol. Even after you got word that there was a fight and knew there was a fight inside the MGM. We on high alert. Retaliation is the code of the street. Reggie knew that. But anyway, so Reggie Sr. gets the gun. Now wonder that the captain, sergeant, whatever his ranking was, who was over Detective Brennan of the gang unit, he was over Detective Ladd, Brennan's partner. Both, well, Ladd never joined Greg Kading's task force, but Brennan did, right? So these people are outranked and get direct instructions and was picked, owe their career to Reggie Wright Sr. are sent days after Tupac was unalive to go help the Las Vegas PD in their investigation into Tupac murder. They don't have jurisdiction in Las Vegas. They weren't at the crime scene to know what had happened, who had did what. But it appears like they were given an agenda and put on that case. What a conflict of interest. Reggie Wright Sr., with his son being a suspect in this homicide of the late, great Tupac Amaru Shakur, father sent his subordinates to go assist in the investigation of a murder in which his son was a prime suspect. It's nasty work, bro. Now, this is the same man that brought CS2 back and planted him around death row while Suge was in jail. When he get back out, oh, he's a blood. Suge don't even know. So, we're going to get into some of this content, break some of this down, and then we'll get to the, we could close this one out. Boom, we already showed that one. Let's get into Whack 100 brings Greg Kading into Clubhouse. I've exposed the paperwork on Clubhouse, paperwork party, the CS2 back wiretaps from the Main Street Mafia and Deja 34 investigation. These are the federal wiretaps. And everybody was requesting to get Mark Stevens, right? Like, if you get Mark Stevens, he could clear all of this up, right? We're going to get to that real quick. Bear with me. We got everything for y'all today. Hit that like button. Bear with me. Okay, here it go right here. Let me share this. It's called paperwork discussion. So they done brought not his crimees. He doesn't go get Mark Stevens. Del Dog is resting in peace. He go get his sensei, Reggie Wright Jr., and Detective Greg Kading, representing that Detective Greg Kading is the lead director. So this is what some of the people said. Some of the people will even go to one of Wack's biggest dick suckers at the time. One of the exposers, Ghostman, you know, the one with the frog eye that liked the Budweiser toads. Budweiser. Him. This is what he said.
Profile that. But a way to even clear this shit is the nigga Mark they talking about. Nigga could just bring that nigga online because he said he cool with the nigga. Bring him online and ask him, who are you talking about on that phone, on that wiretap? Who are you talking about? And he could say either yay, I was talking about Wack, or nay, I wasn't. And if he say he wasn't, that clears his name.
But you decide to bring. I'm gonna ask you a question, Keita. If you got into some mess, are you gonna bring 2 police officers to clear your name? Like, be real. If people calling you a fed, Keita, are you gonna bring 2 police officers?
Police station and get the paperwork so you see my name and
okay, but are you gonna bring 2 police officers? Come on.
But Money Train, are you there?
Keita deflected. Keita used a piece of shit too. Told on your baby daddy. It was on Facebook Live. And then I heard you lie. But you told him where the guns was at. Nasty work. But you try to deflect away from the topic at hand. Ghost is saying, bring Mark Stevens. And if Mark Stevens said he could clear Wack name, if it ain't Wack, and It's crazy that he said that because that's what I did. I went and interviewed Mark Stevens, and he said, yeah, Wack is a rat, but yet he's an exposer over there with Wack as we speak, implicating people in murders, open murder cases. Nasty work. You just gonna lie, snitch until you can. He ain't going back to jail, but then Keita comes in once the other dude said, Keita, is you doing that? She deflect, says she's gonna go to the court to go get it. And then she questions the authenticity of the transcribed paperwork. Nasty work. Over there doing the bidding of this federal confidential source. Nasty work. But it's not surprising. Like I said, she had already told on her people before. So let's see what else we got. We got the let's get into this. Let's get into this. Because I want y'all to understand, nobody want them as big as that is, how the FBI is so obsessed with different stuff. This is an ex-FBI informant. Just listen to this clip.
From the thing is, I can. They have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
And they would actually study these different.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely.
What would they do with music?
To understand the people, you have to understand the culture. To infiltrate, you have to understand. You had a lot of so-called white liberals that were infiltrating the so-called black groups using the information that they had gathered from the studies of blacks.
You mean just to understand the behavior pattern of our people?
Oh yeah, I can. From the thing is, I can. They have a file on every type of magazine that blacks read. They have a file on the music, dance, theater, actors, comedians, you name it, man.
And they would actually study these different.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely.
What would they do with music?
To understand the people, you have to understand the culture. To infiltrate, you have to understand. You had a lot of so-called white liberals that were infiltrating the so-called black groups.
Put the white liberals to infiltrate the groups. Just think about that. That's nasty work, bro. Hold on, let's get into this clip.
You mean just to understand the behavior pattern of our people?
Oh yeah, I can. Will Heaton could name out some jams of Miles Davis that I hadn't even heard of. He could name off some books that I hadn't even read pertaining to black culture.
Do you ever see agents actually studying the music of?
Yes. I've seen them going over even video portion of cultural events. The understanding, like when, you have an organization like Leroy Jones' Black House. You remember that? Okay, Leroy Jones's place, which was done on the thing of tribalism. That's where I first heard the word Kintu, Mantu, Huntu, Hintu. These words of the African continuum.
Tribalism. Knowing that as indigenous to the earth, not indigenous to Africa, not indigenous to America, not indigenous to Europe and the Middle East, indigenous to earth. Homo sapiens sapiens, the first Homo sapiens sapiens, inherited the earth, God's people. We're tribal. And because we're tribal, they criminalize that. But they have a fixation on sex tapes, the FBI, especially when it comes to celebrities and entertainment, YouTubers, rappers, CEOs, businessmen. Let's get into this real quick.
Part of your other activities and responsibilities to study the profiles of celebrities who were supportive of organizations?
Definitely, and especially, like I said, psychological backgrounds, weaknesses and strengths. Did he have a weakness for blondes? Did he have a weakness for money? Did he snort cocaine? Did he smoke marijuana? They even get into, and that's one thing the Bureau loves is their sexual background. They have files and files on different blacks, not only celebrities, but a lot of others, sexual activity.
What would they do with this information?
Oh, that's used as a weakness.
So they would feed these weaknesses.
Yes.
Did you see that happen?
Oh, yes.
The feds target your weaknesses. Are you weak for blondes? Smoke marijuana? You pop the pills, right? This is what's going on. Let me turn this off real quick. This is what's going on. He said that they want to infiltrate. They utilize some white liberals to act like they care about your plight. You know what I'm saying? And they'll infiltrate your movement. But they had a primary focus on entertainment, entertainers. Today, you would call those creatives. That's why the budget for cyber police and informants is what it is today. We're all under surveillance, man. Let me see what else we got for y'all, man, because we definitely got something for y'all. So, CS2 back. Let's get into this. But when you say they study the music, when you say they study the music, they study our culture, they watch every magazine. Let's see if we could get, let's see if we can show y'all this real quick. Just real quick. Matter of fact, we don't even got to do that. I'll let matter of fact, I'll let them tell you. And then I can show that. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Department, as well as myself and my partner, Paul Fournier. Again, Timmy Brennan.
This is Detective Michael Coet, who, if you read the paperwork that we released, you'll see his name in the paperwork of the Main Street Crip investigation. He says his partner, Paul Fournier, that is the real lead detective on the investigation of the Shaquille O'Neal alleged kidnapping of Robert Ross.
And then Paul Fournier and myself and Bobby Ladd.
Bobby Ladd and Brennan, the Compton Police Department, the same ones that are on this task force and on this Main Street case. These same Compton police officers are the same ones that Reggie Wright Sr. sent to go start the cover-up. What would become the cover-up in the murder of Tupac Shakur.
Were involved originally after the Tupac murder with all the chaos that was going on in the Compton-Linwood area. For those that don't know, Compton and Linwood butt up to one another, and it's really no hard borders there. So it's it was a war zone for a couple weeks after the murder. And as far as our responsibilities, and that, I think it was Greg was counting on our knowledge of the players that were involved back in the 90s, because this was, 15 years after or so that this task force was assembled. So he was counting a lot on the knowledge as well as the report.
Let's get back into this. Detective Michael Coet.
It's known that you were on the task force. So it's known that you were on what people call the Greg Kading's Biggie task force. Can you explain a little bit?
Now remember, he's on the Biggie task force also. So when these same police are on all of these big investigations at the same time, they seem to merge. So the Biggie task force has one objective. The Deja 34 investigation has another objective. The Main Street Mafia Crip, the main attraction or the main event, has a different objective and different targets, right? These same police play them, so it's hard to differentiate, but don't lose sight of the fact that he was on the Biggie, Greg Kading's Biggie Joint Task Force. This is what they're trying to do. This is the same man that said that Cash Jones was the only one arrested.
How that task force was assembled and kind of what your responsibilities were involved with the task force?
Yeah, so Greg actually was smart in this aspect about putting together some of the people that were originally involved in the investigations of both Tupac and Biggie. Darren Dupree, probably the smartest guy I know when it comes to gangster rap, and that anybody you said anything about the rap, Darren Dupree was very knowledgeable with it. He brought Timmy Brennan on from Compton PD, who's now with the sheriff.
Did you just hear what he said about Darren Dupree? About he's the biggest proponent and voice, historian on gangster rap. This is his focus. Darren Dupree is the hip hop police. Pay attention.
Biggie, Darren Dupree, probably the smartest guy I know when it comes to gangster rap.
The smartest guy he knows.
And that anybody you said anything about the rap, Darren Dupree was very knowledgeable with it. He brought Timmy Brennan on from
and he would be the final say in the pro when it comes to talking about gangster rap. You know what I'm saying? So let's get into this. Oh, I can't do it like that. Boom. So I dropped the video, which we will be playing, and this will happen.
Every Mazda is engineered to give you effortless control.
Let's go.
I wake up.
Our hip hop. And I got some bad news.
Let's back it up.
T-Money, I wanted to ask you for some advice.
T-Money.
The other day, I was just going through YouTube, and I went to my favorite hip-hop platform, World Star Hip Hop. And I got some bad news. I found out that my big homie was talking to the cops.
Who's that? Who, me?
What do you think I should do to
Who's talking to the cops?
There was an AI voice. A compelling thumbnail.
Shout out to, listen.
It's on a big platform.
Shout out to that post.
I took it at face value.
Yo, shout out to that post.
And I don't know what to do.
All right, so I think
with the paper
wise, right? Again, right? So where we come from, if you say something, you have to have a point to prove it. You have to have the work. You know what I'm saying? And if you
we got the work. Hey, T-Money. See, T-Money was in my gang class, gang awareness class in California Youth Authorities, YTS, 1999, 2000, around that time. He might not remember me, but I remember him very well. Him coming back from Minnesota. I guess he had some kind of weed case. I don't remember. But this is the same T-Money who he's talking about an incident with him and Suge Knight, and that has nothing to do with this one. He said, you got to have to work. We exposed the wiretap, interview Mark Stevens and the victim, Robert Stutterbox Ross.
You don't have it, you better figure out how to go get it and find it. Again, that goes back to how we were saying when I say he says some things at the wrong time or whatever the case may be.
Boy, that's $5 million.
What's that?
What?
Notice of defamation and demand. We would like to schedule a call for Thursday. Our deputy general counsel is out the remainder of the week.
Defamation of character.
We'd like to be sure.
$5 million. Good looking out, bozos. You paid your op.
So he said he'd have hit him for $5 million. He's so slow, and we're going to get into the paperwork. He's so slow that he doesn't even understand that just claiming defamation, he doesn't understand the legal burden that must be proved. On top of that, especially to the third party, in this case, that being World Star Hip Hop. But in any event, long as he took the video down, which at the time was at 3 million views just on the World Star Hip Hop server, another 1 million views on the World Star Hip Hop YouTube. Then you had World Star Hip Hop TikTok, and all. It was spreading everywhere. 3 million views in 4 days. But let's listen to his reaction. Look how he can fake it so.
Who you suing? World Star?
Oh, no. World Star.
Okay, so no, listen.
World Star's owned by another media company.
Right. And you're going for them.
You see, in my world, I will never sue or never involve court with nobody from the streets.
Okay.
But if you are the Ritz or you are a corporation or a company.
Okay.
He will never sue. Listen, bro, you done already told on people. Why wouldn't you sue? I thought you was a businessman.
Okay.
I will fire your ass up. I have a law firm called Sing and Sing. That's not no problem.
I call you didn't want me to get no money or something? Because I called you about my defamation of character from the Rolling Stone magazine.
I never told you how to go get it from Rolling Stone. I don't
know. I wear the attorneys.
They're right there. You can go get them. We can still go get them.
I think it's too late.
No, it ain't.
No?
Fuck no. Oh, yeah, you right. You can go get them. Because let me tell you where they fucked up at. They stupid motherfuckers said.
Don't say it, because don't let them go fix. Well, I guess you got to.
Let me tell you what these bozos did, Adam.
Tell me.
They went on this clip on World Star and said, I was a federal informant and that I caught on wiretap trying to get somebody killed. Now, these two things, right, are things that can be investigated. The wiretaps can be pulled and the investigative officers can be summoned to say, was this man a motherfucking federal informant?
Was that in the magazine?
Huh?
Was that
World Star.
Oh, okay.
Right? So when I seen it go on World Star, the team seen it, I said, no, let it get to 1 million, right? And let it cross over. Because the more views it has, that means the more damage is done.
1 million people have seen that video.
On World Star. Great, right? So what people don't realize, whether you like it or not, I'm a fucking public figure. Whether you want to agree with me or not, Whack 100 is a trademark name and is a public figure by right of podcast, by right of record label, by right of notable manager. I'm a public figure, right? So when I hit my legal beagles, they was like, oh shit, we know they didn't do this. I said, yo, let it rock out. Because it's chess, not checkers, right? You get these gang members that's emotional and they say, let's do this to Whack, right? You always have to think about what you're going to do to me. So now what's going to happen is I'm going to let it play out. We're going to go high, settle in the middle. And then when I settle, then I'll post that on World Star and say, you stupid motherfucker, you just made your op a couple million. Who won? I'll lose 10 battles to win the war. I always tell people this. I could have got that shit snatched down day one. No, I'm going to lose these battles. Let's let people get it, talk about it. Other blogs grab it, share it, because my team, as you know, you have a team, is tracking everywhere it goes. On World Star, it just did 1 million, right? But when you combine everywhere it went, what all the comments said that's directed at me, right? All of that, when it hits the civil court, right, is the damage that was done.
Yeah. It's notoriously hard to sue the media in America.
Got him. It's notoriously hard to sue the media in America because it's something called free speech. Remember that? So when we get into the World Star Hip Hop attorneys filing a motion to dismiss his complaint based upon anti-slap laws, then you'll be a lot more familiar. This is what Adam was referring to when we get to that point. Remember,
See that?
No, it ain't.
Whack is not a real manager or don't understand the law. So with that, he's a fool, but he's not dumb enough not to know he needs to get that video down by any means necessary because his cover got blown. Let's go.
No, listen. Not when it got that badge on it, baby. It got that badge of World Star on it.
Who do you think put the bag up to have that posted, and who do you think made it?
Oh, that was Big Q that did it.
How do you know?
That's cap. I just showed y'all. Matter of fact, let me see. I just showed y'all the certificate of registration for that work. I own that. Let me see. Whack 100 and the snitch allegation. Number PA2-482-376. Effective date of registration, February 13th, 2024. That's when they said they had everything there. The registration decision was July 25th, 2024. The date on the copies that they received the copies was 1/27/2024. That's the exact date that I released the World Star Hip Hop video. On World Star, I registered for copyright my intellectual property. This is what the fuck I do. This is what I do. Date of first publication, January 27th. 2024. So who put that up on World Star Hip Hop? Me. That's mine. Author created entire motion picture. It's a documentary. So that's why I own the whole shit. No other names on here. None. Zero. It contains some pre-existing images. That's it. But other than that, I own everything else. Duse M, Active Chuck's ENT, not Big U. But Big U did have to deal with World Star. So he had connections there, plugged me with one of the connections who told me to register it. I would get my money. I haven't got my money. So World Star be looking for this new lawsuit since I sent y'all a demand and y'all ain't paid me. Let's go.
Stupid motherfucker. Let me tell you.
How do you know?
I know because he got a contract with World Star. His first podcast ever,
right?
They needed location. Who you think gave him the location? They were in a big ass motorhome. Where you think it was at?
This was
in
you?
The back of my studio.
Okay.
He did OT Genesis, game, all that shit. That's when I knew he was doing his thing with
I
World
did
Star.
season 2, never came out.
Right? No, because they don't do no fucking numbers or whatever. So this is what's going to happen. World Star is trusted, right? He called and get it put up because he emotional because we've been exposing his ratting, right? Now we got paperwork to his ratting, so it's different, right? So when it got that put up, World Star just trusted the dude. They put it up. Now this is what's going to happen, right? I seen it immediately. They say, oh, no, let that shit up. Leave that shit up. Let that shit go. Let it get up there. When it hit 1 million, and then we got another 1 million plus collectively outside of it, that's when we go. Now, that ain't no whack. That's legal shit. You know how that works. That's them Jewish people, right? They working. When they hit it, when the shit starts to get deep, when we go in for
that's them Jewish people. When they hit it, and that's when shit started getting deep. The nigga don't know what the fuck is he talking about. Talking about defamation of character. What are you talking about?
What we want and why we want it. They're going to double back to this bozo.
Valley. What he want. This shit is crazy.
And say, hey, bro, give us something to show that what you had us put up is real. He ain't going to be able to provide that. When he's not able to provide that, then that company is going to be forced to settle.
Like, I'll give you an example, and I do think what you're saying kind of makes sense. But when they're trying to prove that Trump intentionally stole the election, that is going to be a very, very hard case to make in court.
Totally different from this.
But because it's easy to imagine that Trump really did believe that the election was stolen from him, regardless of if it ends up being true or not. In this situation,
they made specific accusations. They pinpointed. They said, I got caught on wiretap trying to plot the assassination of another man. Right? That. So now you're saying I got murder for hire. Hey, brother, I'm a legal man.
We're going to get into that murder for hire next.
Businesses, you can't put that shit on my name. Then you said I'm a federal informant. Listen, that's fucking with my character, people I do business with, right? So shout out to Reggie Wright. This is my secret weapon.
Shout out to Reggie Wright. This is my secret weapon. Is y'all getting this? Is y'all getting this? Let's go.
Reggie Wright, ex-police. Everybody, all law enforcement that was on that case are Reggie's friends. So I called Reggie. I said, yo, Greg Kading's a relative dude. You got reach? Yeah. I said, okay, I need to talk to my legal beagles. Legal beagles get on the phone. They said, listen, tell us about this. He said, it's absolutely false. WAC 100 was a target, not informant.
Listen, WAC 100. People get targeted and get flipped to be informants. Just because you start out as a target, you can still end up as an informant. So you can say that for some niggas that don't know no better. I did 10 years in federal time. I studied a little bit of the law. I'm still a lay litigator, but I studied enough law to know that a target could turn. And in this case, Greg Kading said that's exactly why you were targeted. In the movie, it says that's exactly why you were targeted. They were told if they got something on you and flipped you, you can lead them and give them some information on Suge that you know you got inside information on what happened with Biggie Small.
A guy named Stutterbox informed on him that he was doing something that come to find out he wasn't doing, right? We have all the documents and tape recordings, and this is why I'm glad. Because of this, now I can force the tape recordings of Stutterbox voice telling on everybody to come out. This shit is helping me, right? He said, furthermore, right, if he would have been caught on wiretap plotting or conspiring to kill somebody, we would have booked his ass. But we have all the wiretaps, right, that we was listening to. So once my attorneys heard that, they like, great, right? So they signed him up. So he's already over there with him. World Star's going to go in and ask this bozo, what do you have to support this clip that we put up out of respect to you? Nothing's there.
Congratulations. He said nothing's there. Did they really believe that? Let's go.
Mom and Dad, your life now revolves around sports.
Hey, Adam, I know you're not that naive, right? I know.
But you wouldn't trade it for anything.
Because you got to deal with those people.
DSG, only it takes.
On there.
If none of your friends have told you about the Skip Forever button, those aren't your friends. This is Pi, and if it sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen it.
World Star at that point, or this media company that owns it, is going to be forced to settle. I'm going to go high, and I'm going to, they know what it is. I got all the time in the world. I don't give a fuck.
What if you end up being the guy that finally takes down World Star?
No, I don't want to take down World Star. World Star is owned by a bigger company.
But obviously the bigger company is going to look at World Star if they end up having to come out of pocket and say, bro, you put your bad leadership put us in this position. Because I can say that as a person who owns a YouTube channel, I do believe that there's like a different level of leeway that I get when somebody like Loose Cannon comes on here and makes explosive claims about somebody, because it's so obvious that this is a conversation and that I'm not necessarily buying in on what's being said. But that video felt a little different. It felt like editorial.
Listen.
Being posted on behalf of
media.
He said that this is Adam 16. Adam 16 said this was like editorial, journalistic Damu Kiwe Conversations. Listen, bro, the way that the documentary was presented was so journalistic. The etiquette. Hey, man, I got to toot my own horn if I have to. Interviewing the victim, Stutterbox. Interviewing the target of the Deja 34 investigation, Mark Stevens, Money Mark, Shaquille O'Neal's business partner, presenting the documents, the paperwork of Shaq being interviewed by the police at USC in the SEPTA, at the Gallon Center, in the locker room. Mark Stevens being interviewed by the police. Both of those had their lawyers there. Ray J being interviewed. Del Dog being interviewed. The Main Street Crip, we didn't presented that. What are you talking about? And in the video, we must have made a very compelling argument as opposed to what he said in his legal expertise or advice given to him is different from the explosive allegations that Loose Cannon raised, which I might have an argument against that. The defamatory statements implicating Big U in crimes, in the assassination of Nipsey Hussle, that kind of slander, when that man runs a nonprofit charity for the kids. You're trying to attack the character the same way the COINTELPRO did Martin Luther King, the same way they did Malcolm X. Any strong Black figure within our community has been targeted. They've been targeted for wrongful incarceration. They've been targeted for elimination, assassination, right? They've been targeted with slander. That's the doorstep that you guys are getting into with the Big U shit. My situation is facts. And we're going to get into all of it.
Lab owns that, right? So that's also we're going to take that. Loose Cannon gave a descriptive, right, of a phone call and a FaceTime he has. Right? Which he has proof that he has it. All he says, he never said nobody had somebody killed. He just said, I got this call, was told this. I called, dude was still here. And then 30 minutes later, he wasn't. That's it. Now, whatever you take from that, you take from that. Brother, it's many bank robberies and jewelry store robberies and many all kind of shit that didn't happen that niggas in the street knew was going to happen before it happened because a motherfucker was talking about what they was going to go do, right? Now, it ain't his job to go call and the police or the law the authorities. Now, maybe people would have thought that if this was the case, and we'll see, right? That if this guy Nipsey was supposed to be in Big U's, a little brother, that maybe you would have called and gave him a heads up. It is insinuating that you knew something was gonna happen. So why would you call Loose Cannon? Why wouldn't you call Nip? So, February 14th on Urban Flicks. That's what it is, Urban Flicks Network.
I'm just signing up.
It's coming out.
Lord.
And, we got a situation.
I used to drive by Urban Flicks all the time.
Yeah, it's coming up. It's coming out.
So let's stop that right there. Let's go ahead and stop that one right there. So now let's get into Cash Jones filed lawyers, sing file defamation of character. First, they filed a takedown notice of my intellectual property, right? The takedown notice, World Star Hip Hop gets it. They decide at that point by the law whether they want to have more exposure to liability and legal ramifications if they decide to leave it up, or they could do as they did and take it down, so that he would have to prove under the DMCA that anything that was within that that documentary is found to have been defamatory or not. They don't take it down because they believe it's defamatory. In fact, they arguing that it's free speech and trying to get that case dismissed by WAC 100. But just, WAC talks about he's a businessman. His lawyers detail all of that. They talk about within the video, defendants published the following statements on the World Star Hip Hop channel about plaintiff. There were no arrests made other than Cash Jones. Well, that's Detective Michael Coet that said that, sir. So if that's defamatory, then that means your lawsuit would be better forced towards Detective Michael Coet, because his partner was the lead detective on the Main Street Mafia investigation. His partner was the lead detective on the Deja 34 investigation into Money Mark Stevens and Shaquille O'Neal and the alleged kidnapping of Robert Ross. These are facts. They said that you was arrested. Do you really want to push that button? Why don't you file a lawsuit against Detective Michael Coet? Let's see how that works out for you. You want to be exposed in CS2 back? You want the world to know Duse M didn't do good enough job? The Damu Kiwe didn't do good enough job? But that's one of the statements he's saying was defamatory. Good luck with that one. WAC 100 Jones was caught on a wiretap with Del Dog conspiring to commit murder. This is why his house was raided and led him to working with the police. I'm going to put, before this live is over, I'm going to show you evidence that WAC 100 went to the 64th floor 2 days after his house was raided of the FBI headquarters, where he's seen 6 or more, I think 6 to 8 FBI officers, including the female that he Stutterbox introduced him to as Stevie's on the Strip. If you're familiar with it, you already know where this is going. You know what I'm saying? The bottom line is this. When he went up in there, you had FBI. He said he never had the FBI in his life. But I'm going to show you proof that he said it was the female that he met from Louisiana, turned out to be wearing an FBI flap jacket. He met her at Stevie's with Stutterbox. And then he's going to go into a conference room on the 64th floor. But if most of y'all recall, he said he went there to go pick up his things, the property they took from his house, right? the property they took from his truck, right? During the raid, anything they found, anything that they took, right? But remember, he said the reason that he couldn't be convicted of an ex-felon in possession of a gun with the guns that they found at his house, gun is what he's arguing, but I'm going to show you where he states guns, plural, these guns, plural, not this gun, singular, right? And they recording. You're going to hear them, they push play, meaning they playing the wiretap to him. Well, Stutterbox said that you was caught on wiretap. He said it was for conspiracy to murder. You gave up his address, and there was an attempt made on his life, him and his wife, and almost 20 bullet holes was left in his Rolls Royce. This is what he said. I wasn't there. I'm just documenting what he said. Then you said he tried to set you up with a girl from Louisiana who said her plug went dark. She trying to get 5 keys and something about you selling dope for sure. Presumably the FBI agent that you seen on the 64th floor of FBI headquarters. When you and your lawyer just happened to pop all the way up to that room, the conference room, when you went to go pick up your stuff. Imagine that. But back to that. Maybe you just got caught on wiretap with the dope. Who knows? But Stutterbox is saying that was the conspiracy, that you was caught on the wiretap with that. So that would be conspiracy to commit attempted murder because nobody wasn't killed. But yeah, he said you lined him up. That's his allegation. Wack Jones, also referred to as confidential source number 2. Oh, yeah. We gonna be able to prove that. You know, we got not only does Mark Stevens say it, you know what I'm saying, and then we're gonna go into how it evolved once he first brought Detective Greg Kading, the lead investigator of the Deja 34 investigation, the Main Street Mafia Crip investigation, and the Biggie and Tupac investigation. Let him tell it. No, he was the lead investigator of the Joint Task Force. He assembled them together. He had the final say. And that's one of the reasons 7 Main Street Crips walked. Because ultimately, he didn't want to reveal his biggest rat. He didn't want Cash McElroy Jones to have to testify for the fact to come out that he was arrested, be public, because he was working that off. I don't know, maybe he was working before that Texas gun case. But anyway, back to the civil suit. He complains about and says it's defamatory that we call him CS2 back, right? Jones has been exposed as a confidential informant in paperwork recently released. Informant, you giving information to the police in confidence. You lost that one. We'll break down what CS2 back did. So all we got to do is prove that you CS2 back. Wack confirmed as a confidential source. Yeah, CS2 back. That's the same thing. Why would the FBI be calling a big-time gangster like Wack 100 Jones to make sure he's okay unless there's a relationship between the two parties, which could have started when the felon was caught in Texas with firearms? Yes. So, did he say that the FBI was calling him? He can't be mad at us. You went live, said that the FBI called you, had someone fake like they was the FBI, right? and then you log the number in. When you screenshot it and showed the picture of the number, the name logged into your phone, you spelled bureau wrong. Federal Bureau of Investigations. He didn't put Federal Bureau of Investigations. He put Federal Bureau. He's illiterate. He's really not as smart as he claimed to be. Never mind me. Let me get back serious. So he said that they called him asking about Jay Prince. And who has that type of, the FBI is not going to call you, they show up at your door. Who has that kind of relationship with the FBI? Could it be when he was caught in Texas with 3 guns and 800 rounds of ammunition? We already broke that down on the Hip Hop Police Docu-Series. We called and talked to Debbie McLaughlin. Shout out to the head clerk down in Wheeler, Texas, right? And you told us that your case, that gun case, was dismissed under illegal search and seizure, right? But when we went through the paperwork, you see that that was a lie. See, the motion to they wanted to suppress the evidence that was found, the guns, the report that the police took, everything based upon illegal search and seizure. That was denied. I want me to show it. I can show it. But shortly thereafter, WAC 100's lawyers put in a motion to have the case dismissed in the interest of justice. And he did something that was so convincing with no leverage in the case. Your motion to suppress was denied. And they believed that it was in the interest of justice that Cash being caught with 3 weapons and 800 rounds of ammunition with him on the street without serving prison time or being prosecuted. That's a fact. So these are the things that he's trying to argue, miscellaneous bullshit that can be cleared up and proven, and to dismiss his shit right now. World Star, y'all need to be paying me my dough and holler at me. I give y'all what's gonna get y'all up off that little punk ass lawsuit, man. They said anti-slap. He trying to stop the he's trying to stop the freedom of speech, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? Let me get to this real quick. We're gonna start knocking this shit down. So we gonna get to this. What's this? Let's close that. All right. Wait, let me show you how big this was before we go to all that. Let's go. So that was on No Jumper, right? Y'all want to know the influence? 6,000 subs, almost heading down 7. Join us, subscribe. You have me right now.
Uh-oh. Hey, yo, Chris Collective. What's up, LA? But check this out, y'all. I just seen something that said WAC 100 was a federal informant. Uh-oh.
So that's another one. Hold on. I'm telling you, it was all over. Y'all ain't finna take this moment from us.
And there's a whole documentary on it. And it's crazy. All right, y'all, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you haven't seen it or you haven't heard, check it out on World Star. WAC 100 is being exposed for being an alleged informant, and there's a whole documentary on it. And it's crazy because his whole motto is no snitching, and he don't mess with rats. He's with the streets and all the politics, but there is literally audio of him on a recorded phone call. There's a wiretap, I'm pretty sure. And basically, man, this dude's ratting, snitching, setting people up, and it's just all being exposed literally on WorldStar. And the people are doing a sit down talking on it. So Whack 100's got a lot of explaining to do, man, because man, I see why he likes 6ix9ine, because that boy was ratting on everything. These boys be telling. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Y'all gotta check.
Shout out Glow Cartel, man. We wanted to make sure that the people heard your voice, man. Your voice was heard, King. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, we got more.
Without them going see for real if he really read it. So that go, WorldStar and them will do anything. They'll post anything. All them little blogs will post anything for some money. They don't give a damn. They'll tarnish your character or whatever. They don't care about telling the truth or nothing. Hey, Wack be talking a lot of bullshit, but he right about this, and y'all dirty for that, bro. Hey, they don't give a damn. They'll tarnish your character or whatever. They don't care about telling the truth or nothing. Hey, Wack be talking a lot of bullshit, but he right about this, and y'all dirty for that.
And let him know why does he empathize with a rat? He did. You seen the documentary and you don't get that he's a rat. Why are you defending this rat? Let's go to this other one. Boom. This is one of my guys. Right? Shout out to my boy, Street Certified News. Chi-Town, the rack is in the building. You gotta show some love to the rack, man. I'm gonna call y'all back. You already know what it is, man. The rack. Let's get to it.
Grew up here, and so did a lot of the
And then
girls
we gonna
working
break
the
it
avenue
down
today.
after.
Transcript stated that a man.
Oh, we gonna go all the way to the beginning.
Mom,
Wow,
5 minutes.
Damu Kiwe Conversations.
Shout out Big Bo. Shout out Walker.
Certified, man.
Yo. It's your boy MXL Guapo, man. Street Certified News. And we back with another one. As you can see from the title, man, this week, man, we get real deep, man. The boy Wack 100. A few months ago, there were some interviews that came out from the dude, Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, as well as Mark Stevens. Shout out, man, Big OG Spider-Lope, man. You know what I'm saying? They came on his podcast and they told, a story that was very compelling. You know what I'm saying? Also, man, shout out the boy Duse, man, Active Chucks. He's actually the director of the video About Wack 100 that's currently at like 2 million views on WorldStar right now. It's on their website as well as their YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? We dug into this story, man. We wanted to start from like the most unbiased place possible. You know what I'm saying? In the past, we have made videos, you know what I'm saying? We have made fun of Wack 100. But like I said, man, when we saw a video on WorldStar, that necessarily didn't convince us that, bro was a rat. You know what I mean? We really went into this story like as unbiased as possible so that, you know what I'm saying, we could give you guys the best story. And like I said, man, the information we're going to provide in this video, man, we stand on it 100%. Is literally we did all the due diligence we could. Before we get started, we need everybody to stop, smack the like button, man. Man, let's get this video to 1,000 likes, man. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we say 500, sometimes we say 400, 300. Man, let's run this video up to 1,000 likes. Like I said, man, we did our due diligence in this video. We reached out to people. You know what I'm saying? We checked paperwork. We did everything we could possibly do to bring you guys like the most accurate story on this whole Wack 100 CS2 situation. You know what I'm saying? So this week's story, how the boy Wack 100 exposed himself as a federal informant, and how all of this started with the Main Street Mafia Crips and LA Lakers star Shaquille O'Neal, man. Sound crazy already, I know, man. Hey, with no further ado, man, let's get right into it. February 2008, record producer and alleged mafia crip Robert Ross, while parked on the Sunset Strip in Hollywood, California, is approached by men he believed to also be associated with the Main Street Mafia Crips. These men directed Mr. Ross to follow them to a different location, to the home of Main Street Crip leader Liddell Del Dog Rose. It was there where Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, would testify he was beaten and told to fix his problems with Mark Stevens, a business manager who worked closely with Shaquille O'Neal. Ross would go on to testify that he also formerly worked for Shaquille O'Neal and Stevens as a music producer for artists signed to the record label Deja 34. This part of the story was like super important, man. Like I said, researching this story, man, the Main Street Mafia Crips popped up, as well as the dude Shaquille O'Neal, man. We gonna get into kind of how it all ends later, but we really wanted y'all to kind of see this part of the story because it's like a lot of coincidences, as well as, you know what I'm saying, Whack 100, you know, many times inserting himself into certain situations, including eventually this one. We really wanted to tell y'all this part, but we promise y'all it's gonna get to Whack. You know what I'm saying? Eventually, court records would show that Robert Ross would testify that while he worked for Shaq, because of Ross's criminal past, would sometimes ask him to like do weird shit that he didn't feel like was in the, you know, music producer job title. It's also alleged around this time that Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, he met Shaq's wife and allegedly may have had an affair with her and secretly recorded a sex tape. This sex tape would be something that Ross would admit that he told Shaq and Mark Stevens about only weeks before this encounter with the Main Street Crips. In July of 2008, after word was spread about the kidnapping, ultimately affecting Ross's business, the disgruntled producer would take his information to the LA County Sheriff, claiming Shaq and Mark Stevens paid the Main Street Crips to kidnap him and get him to give up the tape. Also during this meeting, Robert Ross would admit the sex tape was a hoax, meant to extort Shaq and Stevens for a larger cut in their music business. As a result, a wiretap would be placed on Mark Stevens and Liddell Rose's phone. Now let's get to Whack 100. Whack 100, aka Cash Jones, by 2008, is a part-time music manager, part-time street politician, and full-time trucking company CEO. Being a former associate of Suge Knight and a Blood Gang member, Whack admits many people in the streets looked at his successful trucking company as a front. But Whack says he always did legitimate business through his companies. It was also during this time that Whack 100, aka Cash Jones, claims he was neighbors with a high-ranking Crip named Stutterbox, aka Robert Ross. Coincidentally, Whack 100 also at this time managed Reggie, who was signed to a joint venture between Mark Stevens' label and Suge Knight's Death Row Records. Like I said, man, doing the research on this video, like we ran into like hella weird coincidences like that. Bro lived next door to him. They became friends. He also was in business with Mark Stevens through Death Row Records and Ray J. And it was just a million different ways that like this story was twisted and turning, man. And it kind of like, it slowed me down. For people that don't know, that video hit World Star maybe like 2 days ago. During the process of, you know, doing our research, we happened to reach out to LAOG Spider Loke. We spoke with him and he introduced us to the boy Duse. For people who don't know, we got Spider Loke on the call, and then just give him your name, bro. Just so that everybody understand, like, you know, where you come from.
I'm Duse M, CEO of Active Chucks, and I also run the podcast, Damu Kiwe Conversations. Whack 100 interviewed with academics and Tekashi 6ix9ine. I'm a blood, homie, like from South Central LA. that's not something we condone, and that reflects on my community. So I seen him in Death of the Cloud Chaser room, Big Chuck room, and I questioned him on that. Like he was talking about Big U going to see Jim Jones, and I'm like, well, he said, well, yeah, he gonna fuck with him because he haven't seen no paperwork. I said, well, rightfully so. You know what I'm saying? Till you see the paperwork, you don't just treat him out. You don't go do a crime with him because you hear speculation, but you don't just, you know what I'm saying, jump to no conclusions. He was like, yeah, that's how I go. I said, okay, but what in your situation, you don't need to see the paperwork. Tekashi 69 is publicly exposed as a federal informant, this and that. You don't see the hypocrisy in that? And then we went back and forth, and he was like, look, I see you understand the street shit, but where I'm at with my business, you not there, but I wasn't supposed to come in this room. I think the reason I came in this room was to get with you. If you want to do business and whatever you got going on, you need some help, holler at me. I hit him in his back channel and let him know. I think I ain't on no bullshit with you. I just did 8 years in state prison, 10 years before that in federal prison. But I ain't trying to deal with you because I'm looking at it like he's a potential rat.
Following Ross,
They think that, for those who think that I'm lying, well, I done already showed y'all that. You know what I'm saying? Wack lies and says I wanted to do business with him. But he wanted to do business with me and offered, and I denied it.
AKA Stutterbox, telling the authorities about him being kidnapped by his own gang. He would go on to seemingly continue to live the same gangster lifestyle, knowing that yet known Main Street was under investigation, and no one knew Ross was the main witness. In an interview with Bomb First, Wack 100 claims that he became friends with Stutterbox because they were neighbors, and that they would occasionally hang out with girls. Wack 100 would go on to claim that one of the women he hung out with, he would later go on to see at the Wilshire Federal Building, dressed in a law enforcement uniform. Wack would go on to claim that these girls that he met while hanging out with Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, you know, they asked him about drug buys and different things like this happened when he would hang out with him. You know, in his interviews, he claims that it's these types of encounters that he believed led to an investigation on him. And, you know, that's why his house was raided and all of these things. And like I said, it sounds very convenient and it sounds very plausible. But in later years, when Wack speaks about this arrest, and even when, you know, he goes and gets cops to speak on his behalf about this arrest, it's never about drugs. And you know, he claims that these women who were with Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, you know, he claims that these women were asking him about kilos and drugs, and I guess, you know, they thought maybe he used his trucks to transport drugs. But then when he gets his house raided, it's not about drugs. These type of stories, man, is very important that, you know, like I said, we don't want to be first, man, but we want to be right. And the big thing about this,
hey man, that's 100% fact. Wack never, he says that they said he was caught on wiretap, but he never says drugs. But if you pay attention, that's what he's trying to get off of. He said that they're thinking that they got him on wiretap for drugs because he started talking about a shipment, and he get that talking as if he's the trucker, the truck owner operator. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to, like, you think the police didn't set this call up? You think that the pretty girl from Louisiana, the Fed broad, didn't know he was going to want to talk to her and try to get close to her to try to get up on that pussy? Nigga, they knew the nigga was tender dick. But look, he seen all that back, pun intended, CS2 back.
Story is that, you know, that video that hit World Star, a lot of people considered that video, you know, kind of retaliation for some things that Wack 100 and others have kind of been spreading, you know, some false stories about Nipsey Hussle's death. And that was something that we took into account, you know, when we spoke with the OG Spider Low, when we spoke with the dude Duse, and we really you know, when we did our own due diligence, and that was one of the main reasons why we was like, man, we really want to add our own due diligence into this. And I told them dudes, like, look, I want to make sure that it don't look like this is coming from a person who don't like WAC 100. You see what I'm saying? Because it's one thing not to like somebody, and it's a whole nother thing to, you know, literally lay out layer by layer exactly, you know, why this dude is an informant and why he's basically admitted to it in interviews if you're able to piece the entire story together. So when we spoke with Deuce specifically, man, you know, and Big U, you know, his name came up. You know, this is what he had to say about, you know, Big U's involvement in the production of this original video about WAC 100.
Bro, then he jumped on No Jumper and implicated Big U in a conspiracy to commit murder, insinuating that it was done because Nipsey Hussle was up next for the grid contract.
On top of that, he bring loose lip Cannon on No Jumper, coerce him, and have him also implicate him in supplying guns to the Rolling 60s,
After he already been saying Big U is the subject of a potential RICO case right now. He the one that told the world that. He been trying to say the feds is interested in Big U for RICO scenarios, and then he doubled down and come out there and talking about he's been selling 20 guns and all that. Wow.
And extortion. He implicated him in 3 different crimes. Well, total 5 different crimes because he listed 3 names in extortion.
That nigga said Rick Ross and Meek Mill didn't even know Big U sent you, huh? Wow.
Right. Yeah, straight rats. But think about this also, bro. He said that I went on Federal Bureau of Prison website, right? If you go on there, type in Lamonte Sims, black, age 45, my case is gonna come out. It shows that I was released 2011 from federal custody, right? I'm no longer on federal probation or supervised release, none of that shit.
Okay.
But when he said that he had a RICO coming, and at another time they said he got picked up and the RICO was already coming. First of all, if you don't know the RICO coming because it's sealed until it drops. You understand? So the only way you would know that a RICO was coming if it was true was if you had information from the police.
And Hono Hunter think he got it figured out. Don't even know Big U was surprised to see it on World Star. Everybody know Big U got the World Star plug. Goofy, that you didn't tell no secret.
So why is
Big U
people
figure something out, nigga?
So why is people saying that this? Yeah, like I was gonna say, a lot of fans are saying this just like get back for the shit that they put on No Jumper. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean, you know what you say, a lie unchallenged becomes the truth.
Facts.
So perhaps it is an answer, but it's not a fabrication. It's not a production.
Right. Well, let me tell you this, bro. I already worked on this. You've seen the other 3 videos. I don't have a louder voice of them. I needed a marketing plan, a marketing strategy. So when what's the name? When Big U seen it, he said, "Bro, more people need to hear this. I got the Checking In podcast. If you give me a license, I can let them promote it for you."
On August 5th, 2008, only 5 months since the kidnapping of Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, a 7-minute wiretap conversation was recorded. The target of the wiretap is Mark Stevens, and he is recorded on the line with another target, Lindell Dale Dog Rouse, the alleged leader of the Main Street Mafia Crips. During the call, Stevens is recorded asking Dale if he wants to speak with the WAC boy, to which Dale declines. Stevens goes on to say that he doesn't help him, and that he called him out of the blue just the day before, August 4th, with the request. This recorded wiretap will also be transcribed for future court proceedings. In the official wiretap transcript document, and before you actually get to the conversation, it is noted that the man police refer to as confidential source 2, aka Beck, is stated as the person attempting to get in contact with Dale Dog through Mark Stevens. In this exact conversation, Stevens refers to the same man who wants to speak with Dale as the WAC boy. Coincidentally, the WAC boy, aka CS2, aka Beck, was calling to inform Stevens and Dale that Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox, was an informant, and they were likely under investigation. Eventually, 7 Main Street Crips, along with alleged leader Liddell Dale Dog Rouse, were arrested and charged with the kidnapping of Robert Ross, aka Stutterbox. NBA star Shaquille O'Neal would even be questioned about his reported ties to the Main Street Crips, but Shaq was eventually cleared. Ultimately, the overall lack of evidence and inconsistency in Robert Ross's original story led to the charges being dropped. What we want to do is we just want to lay out the facts. We want to lay out things that if you go through yourself, all of these interviews and all of these different pieces of information, if you were to go through all this information, none of this information is refuted. WAC 100 admits that he learned Robert Ross was an informant while he was picking up paperwork at the Wilshire Federal Building. This happened to be after his home was raided. He was never charged with anything. And, he admits he was there, and he admits that's when he learned Robert Ross was an informant. That's a fact. So that's the first fact. So the second fact that was very important in this case is that the LA County Sheriff wiretap transcripts stated that a man by the name of Back, aka CS2, contacted Mark Stevens on August 5th. Well, he contacted him on August 4th, 2008, and Mark Stevens then contacted Dale Dog about this call on August 5th, 2008. Mark Stevens referred to this dude as the Whack Boy, and the government referred to him as Confidential Source 2 and Back. Also recently, man, this dude Whack 100, now he's claiming that he helped 7 Main Street Crips avoid jail. I guess recently he was in, on Clubhouse in the depth of the Cloud Chaser room, and he claims that, there's no way he could be a snitch because he actually helped 7 Main Street Crip members avoid jail. Which, to be honest, man, like we said, all of this really came full circle, man. That is exactly what CS2 did, aka Back, aka the Whack Boy. He called and he warned the Main Street Crips about a snitch, not even potentially. He called and warned them about a snitch. They were able to distance themselves and really shut down all communication, eventually causing these charges to get dropped. So basically at this point, like we said, man, at the beginning of the video, the boy Whack 100 has finally admitted that he is CS2. I guess his thing is nobody went to jail. He actually helped people get out of jail. But at the end of the day, man, Whack 100 is CS2 in that Main Street Crip, Mark Stevens, Liddell Ross paperwork. It's the dude Whack 100, man. Shout out to the OG Spider Loke, man. You know what I'm saying? Man, he really tapped me into some real good insight and some real good information. Y'all check out his podcast because, like I said, he has interviews with Mark Stevens as well as Robert Ross Stutterbox. Even though Stutterbox, you know what I'm saying, he told, but at least you can hear, his part. And it does help kind of fill in certain gaps or whatever. You know what I mean? Also, man, shout out to dude Duse, man. Video on World Star right now, over 2 million views, man. They breaking down the paperwork of the boy Whack 100. Like I said, man, y'all go check that out, man. Hey, it's your boy Marcel Guapo, man. Street Certified News, the most reputable source for urban media, man. And hey, you know what I'm saying? This is something we can stand, man. We stand on it. Man, the boy Whack 100, man, CS2, man. Government informant, Rap 100, whatever you want to call him, man. It's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? We tried to come at it from the most unbiased, neutral place. We listened to what he said. We listened to what everybody said. We read the paperwork. We looked at the timelines. We looked at the arrest reports. We looked at everything we could look at. And based off of what Whack has said himself, CS2 can't be nobody else. Like I said, but Whack 100, man. Hey, it's your boy MHO Guapo, man. Street Certified News, the most reputable source for urban media, man. Make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe, man. Fuck with your boy, man. We love you. We out.
Because you can't really relate to how the cripping and blood is cool.
So salute salute to Street Certified News, one of my favorite hip hop blogs, a street blog, nigga. And they politic how they politic. They said in that same paperwork, it says that the police described CS2 back as a historical confidential informant. This makes me wonder what other cases has WAC 100 helped the police with. This is nasty work. Yeah, it's nasty, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't it. Let's see some other people. Shout out Street Certified News. Go subscribe and follow Nina Boy. What? Hold on. What Nina Boy? What he got? Oh, his shit is too long. We're not finna do all of that. Let me see. Okay, here we go right here. Let's see what Nina Boy say. Just some of the reactions, you know what I'm saying? So y'all can hold people accountable. You know what I'm saying? Everybody can't read paperwork. You know what I'm saying? But let's see what his position is.
Cocky attitude saying, I will pay somebody $1 million if you can show me. First of all, you know, it got to be a level 4 type of situation. Ain't nobody gonna ever get that. His situation, if he is one, allegedly, if he is an FBI informant, they will put him in the industry. He's already in the music business. That's the perfect place to hide an FBI informant. You got to realize what 6ix9ine Tekashi was on. You see what I'm saying? Them dudes, look, think about it. That boy, he made a lot of money, but catch this though, right? The nigga fuck around and expose multiple people that was allegedly FBI informants on me. But when we looking at this game, make no doubt about it. WAC 100 is a very intelligent motherfucker. He know what he's doing. He know that the average Joe Blow would never have access to even gain that type of information. It's no way somebody will be able to get some FBI files or dockets or paperwork in regards to him on that level. You see what I'm saying? And if they put him in, if he is a decoy and an agent informant for the agency, my nigga, 9 out of 10, it would take somebody who's actually an FBI informant to be a whistleblower. You see what I'm saying? The nigga had to go rogue. You see what I'm saying? The nigga had to expose that. He got too much information, bro. He has too much information on situations where he was never there. Most of the time, the allegations that WAC 100 put against people, he was never there. But for somehow he has documentation, information, and all of this crazy shit to identify these people as being snitches, rats, informants within. You see what I'm saying? Like, how do you get that type of information? It's only one way. So with that being said, man, I'm gonna keep it alleged at this point, but man, you niggas know how to read between the lines though, gang. Y'all know how to read between the lines. WAC 100 is a very sophisticated person when it comes to dealing with information. What do we know about information? Information is power. That's one of the coldest things. Let me tell you something. Information, niggas get rich off of information every day. Nigga, let me tell you something. If you got some information on a multi-billion-dollar corporation and they know that you got it, 9 out of 10, they either go send some goons to try to go knock you down or they go buy you out, cash you out. Information is power. If you listen to what WAC 100 say on his Clubhouse, on all of this shit, he has too much information, bro. Ain't nobody just walking up giving this nigga information for free. So I think, he got something to hide. Let's get it. And that
was a good one.
Blames it Aaron on WorldStar on a reputable LA crib and said he's suing the parent company of WorldStar for defamation.
Dude, these bozos did, Adam.
Tell me.
They went on this clip on WorldStar and said, I was a federal informant and that I caught on wiretap trying to get somebody killed. Now, these two things, right, are things that can be investigated. The wiretaps can be pulled and the investigative officers can be summoned to say, was this man a motherfucking federal informant?
Was that in the magazine?
Huh?
Was that
no, WorldStar.
Oh, okay.
Right? So when I seen it go on WorldStar, the team seen it, I said, no, let it get to 1 million, right? And let it cross over. Because the more views it has, that means the more damage is done.
1 million people have seen that video.
On WorldStar. Great, right?
You say some things at the wrong time or whatever the case may be?
Boy, that's 5 million.
What's that?
What?
Notice of defamation and
He not getting no 5 million, man. Hey, look, that's how he call a bluff. Now, let me tell you something. Whack 100 know how to strong arm a nigga with his words. Make no doubt about it. Let's be clear. Whack 100 is a motherfucking genius when it come to that motherfucker, right? The nigga know how to motherfucking manipulate motherfuckers when it comes to, you know, his name in wordplay, homie. I don't think he gonna get no 5 million from World Star, my nigga. Because for number one, World Star don't put out information unless they have a portfolio. They don't just put information out like that. They know that they could get a lawsuit. You dealing with Whack 100, a millionaire, a record exec. He got powerful lawyers. The nigga got money.
He is not a millionaire. He might have $1 million worth of assets, but he is not a millionaire. We could prove that, Nina. Don't believe the hype.
Money. So ain't nobody gonna put out a segment on Whack 100 unless they had some legitimate information that could be possibly true. You see what I'm saying? Nigga, you got them boys to take that shit down so motherfucking fast, nigga. It looked like you got something to hide, gang. Straight up. Let's get it.
Hey, that's what I wanted right there, right?
And demand.
We would like to schedule. So Nina Boy is saying that he took him taking it down. What you got to hide? You know what I'm saying? What do you got to hide? Come on, we're gonna close that. We're gonna close that one. We're gonna close that one. Let's get back to this. Yeah, we definitely got it. Who is this one? Let's see what we got. So mind you, some of them did a lot of views because the algorithm went crazy with my video. So it really went crazy for everybody else. 80,000, 90,000. This one like 30,000 or something like that. Let's get in this coat figure.
Get Big U locked up right now for murder. Try to get Jay.
Listen,
they putting out on you being a confidential informant. If it's not true, federal informant, sue World Star, brother. But the paperwork is out there. Whack 100 done played a lot of y'all. Oh yes. And he's trying to get Big U locked up right now for murder. Try to get Jay Prince and them locked up. He's been trying to get a lot of arrests. Try to get Jim Jones locked up for RICO. Oh, Whack 100 been working real hard on Clubhouse. Everybody talks about everything. Even 21 Savage is on that yelling about it. He got 30 bodies. Oh, man, he ain't from over here. They let him do whatever he want to a Black American. That's real talk.
He a funny motherfucker.
But I need y'all to make sure this message get out there. Bow back, Whack. You've been popped. I'm going to run this on my Clubhouse. Y'all over there chilling in Whack Clubhouse knowing he a rat. Y'all yo damn. But guess what? Clean the fucking community up, you goddamn crime fighter. But all you niggas act like y'all gave a damn about Snip.
That nigga said you goddamn crime fighter, so you see where he stands on it. So all of these people have seen the documentary, ran the content, and this is what they think about CS2 back, right? Let's go to this. World Star Hip Hop exposed Whack 100 for being a confidential informant, trending, viral. This is what the Damu Kiwe Conversation do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all be looking at them little 6,000 views and measuring up the ripple effect of our content. Nah, my nigga, we the motherfucking wave. Let's go.
I'm your host, Kading. We ain't about to waste no time. We about to jump right into it. On this episode, we're going to be talking about World Star Hip Hop exposing Whack 100 for being a confidential informant. You heard what I said. They calling Whack 100 a rat. Hey, yo, y'all ready to turn up with me? Hey, yo, DJ, play my shit.
Like a sight patient. Said that smoke. But we're not gonna play all that.
But y'all go check that out, man. That's nasty work, man. Whack 100, he been running around for years, trolling, talking about people's rats and people's telling and people snitching. You got some dirt on your name, man. Check this out.
First of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
Whack 100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse, has been exposed as a confidential informant in paperwork recently released by defendant Money Mark and Stutterbox. Before we play the recording of Money Mark, who was the main defendant in this case, confirming Whack is back, let's take a look back to when Whack himself spoke on this case and admitted to meeting with the feds and also saying they owe him a favor.
Once they hit my motherfucking home office,
That's when they called the search office. Because in the home office, it then discovered the house and cars and everything they thought was up under my name, that had that living beyond the means excuse to come in there, was all up under different corporations.
Wack is claiming that FBI did not know his house was not in his name before entering his home, and once they found his paperwork in his home office, they called off the search. How does the FBI not have this information prior to search warrant?
My attorney would go down to the federal building on Wilshire Boulevard, right up to 405. We go up top. Now, I get up top, I'm tripping, nigga. So when I tell the motherfuckers, hey, look, y'all raided my house. Y'all had motherfuckers cuffed up in my house. Y'all did all this shit, and y'all know damn well I was clean. Y'all embarrassed me. This, that. We filed the suit. When we get outside with my attorney, 2 officers that's depicted in there came to the front of me and my attorney said, hey, look, man, let this shit go. This shit gonna fuck. This ain't gonna look good on us. We didn't know you. That boy put us on you, right? But we'll owe you one.
Wack is explaining going down to the federal building tripping and basically the detectives telling him on the spot that Stutterbox told us on you. This seems a little odd that detectives would give up someone who is supposedly working for the name and also beg to drop the lawsuit and let us owe you a favor. Wack has told this story on several occasions, changing it up a little each time.
When I got up to the top floor, we went to go get my personal belongings, me and my attorney. When I saw the 2 women with that FBI flag jackets come out, that Stutterbox would always invite to dinner when we was eating the Stevie's on the strip. That's when I knew what time it was. When we come off the elevator, I see a bunch of people in FBI flag jackets. Guess who one of the persons I see? The fucking female from New Orleans that asked about the 5 keys.
Sounds like a scene from Power. Was it one or was it 2 women? Now Wack 100 decides to use his favor the detective promised him and calls it in. Listen to how easy it is for Wack 100 to get the information. These is words coming from Wack, and like he always says, the truth could never be considered disrespect.
I'm sitting back, I call my attorney. I said, hey, yo, call that officer, I need to have a word with him. Yo, didn't you say that Stutterbox is a cooperate for you? Yeah, documented on paper. Yeah, documented. He's a CI. Been that for 6-7 years. You got the paper and all, whatever y'all use. Yeah, we got that. Okay, yo, contact this dude. Have him call Stutterbox to the stand. Yeah, I called it in that day, and I did too. But I used the card, and that was it.
Stutterbox alleges that Wack 100 was caught on a wiretap with Dale Dog conspiring to commit murder. This is why his house was raided and led him to working with the police as back. Stutterbox explains to Duse M that Wack gave up his address.
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap with Dog,
What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro? Right, listen, in the paperwork it said you tried to call Dog, remember? I tried to take your call. I couldn't hear you. I called the Dog. That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim.
There you have it. Wack admitting to being a victim on the case, talking to Dale Dog, and also saying Money Mark was completely right.
Dude that spoke on Shaq is completely right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that. Instead of my paperwork on wiretap, right?
So Stutterbox confirmed that Wack was included in his paperwork
On the Main Street
case,
which he wasn't charged. But this guy said the only person that was arrested
was Cash Jones.
If Greg's credibility hurts the findings of the entire task force or not?
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
But when you get to the discovery, so let's watch this. The actual wiretap, the whole transcript. I got the whole transcript.
Smart
the whole transcript of the whole wiretap. And that paperwork, do you see a conversation with Cash Jones in the transcript? That was the initiating. When they started recording. Right. And Cash Jones, in the paperwork they put him at. Now the paperwork they put him at that DHCK, and I kept asking the white boy in the middle. The lawyer's like, who the fuck is? I didn't talk to no that. Nasty. And they said, nah, that's Wack. They put him in
Wow. Okay. Was this fact also referred as confidential source number 2? Yes, sir. Correct.
Nasty work. Nasty work. Shout out to that YouTuber, man. Thanks for running the content. Brick says Whack 100 is a confidential source. Let's see what Brick the Trick say. Hold on, man. This should be a short clip. Let's see what Brick not the Trick say, man. Hold on. We're going to get to this. Boom. Okay, so y'all not seeing a 6,000 subscriber wave, my nigga. The wave is the wave. Let's get to it. This ain't that long. Let's go. He got the little.
It's a party. It's a party. It's a party. What you talking about? It's a paperwork. It's a party.
That scared me.
It is a party. Ladies and gentlemen.
That's why they want to talk about you, Bonnie. They're like, we're going to throw paper soon.
Wait, but why would I throw papers? Where's the money?
It's a paperwork party.
Papers because it's a paperwork party. This has nothing to do with Bonnie right now.
This means.
Sit down while I talk, Bonnie.
Ooh,
I need a minute.
No, this is no
Talking to you,
paperwork,
baby.
girl. You hear me? This is no paperwork.
The only person who talks to me like that is Blue.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I'm Big Blue Jesus.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
you're
They
not
call me
blue.
Blue Jesus. Everything
You're not blue.
on my head. You get what I'm saying?
And this is global telling.
that's funny. So, what does this represent? No papers, no statements, no nothing here.
Yeah,
I like it.
This represents the
I like it.
paperwork party.
The paperwork party?
What we getting into
Paperwork.
next. Whack
Right.
100.
Okay.
You have been barbecued.
CS.
CS2 back.
AKA
It's time to get into
AKA back.
So, World Star, 27 million subscribers, right? YouTube. They just posted something recently on Whack 100. Active Chucks, shout out the Blood and Crip, the Damu Kiwe Conversations click because they put
we gotta
together
clip
this,
that.
Little segment
Don't
that they
have
had
to
put
hear
out on. Yeah, I mean, you don't really have to hear it, but what parts stuck out to you the most? Like where you want to go to?
I mean, it's good. You could play the beginning because the beginning is funny. I mean, you can skip through it once we
Whack
get into
100, and I am addicted to paperwork.
You guys. I can't. Don't talk about my man's manager.
Well, what I'm saying is we don't even have to get into too much of the video.
Yeah, I fuck with Whack.
For those of you who are not tapped
we don't
into
even have to do too much.
Whack 100 drama, and rightfully so, it's actually been unfolding for over 2 years now. Dating
You
back
think
to
we
when Whack
should-
100
is this
allegedly
showing?
got punched in the back of his bald head by the Rolling 60s at the Games concert in LA.
Whack 100 got we not put on him. Hold on, y'all hear they verse.
Every game said, nigga got there, got shocked out, ran to the front, and jumped off game stage.
Y'all
Nigga,
ready for that?
No.
As you know, Whack's internet clout arguably stems from this very moment right here. Nobody really knew this man before this moment.
You going on and saying that Nipsey wasn't a legend?
He wasn't. How many albums did Nipsey drop? One album. The man died with 1 million followers, no radio hits, no platinum hits, right? No world tours, right?
So ever since Nipsey Hussle passed away, ironically getting gunned down by Brick Baby's quote-unquote little homie, a shitty cuz or Eric Holder, Whack 100 has been clout chasing Nipsey's name. So the Rolling 60s allegedly caught him at the concert and put hands on him.
Rumor has it that a nigga ain't been touched. Man, Whack is the biggest nigga. Talking about it was 2060s and nigga. My foot was broke at the time. Boy, you was on camera shaking like a bitch. Screaming draws, they draws my kids here. Type of nigga bring his kids out with him. Oh, that's what you said. Draws for no real. You feel my kids? That's San Fernando Valley politics. He had San Fernando Valley blood cord, niggas. 6 so ask Whack if he know what that hoodie look like, cuz who the dead hubbies. Came out the back door, nigga. Nigga seen the nigga thought you saw a ghost, nigga. Dead up, trying to get up out of there, lame. Thought you saw a ghost, nigga. You couldn't do nothing but get out your car, nigga. You was blocked in, nigga. Stop playing. So I was there. You know, the Brick was just letting you play yourself. I was there.
20 niggas, that ain't nothing.
That's how. So this is how we got here, right? So
Okay.
So
yes,
a whole lot of it's been a series of events going on, and Wack and another person they've been getting into it. Wack and Big U they've been getting into it
right
a lot recently, and they've been pulling out paperwork on each other. And one was a police statement, which on the yard we can't react on a police statement. The police saying that you told because the police are allowed to lie.
Right.
Or anywhere. So we can't believe anything that they say. So now we go through Wack 100's paperwork. And what happened was Wack almost had us fooled by not being CS2 back because they said it was a low-level drug dealer named CS2 back. And the world, he was like, the world, no, I ain't never sold drugs. I don't sell drugs. That ain't what I do, right? So the detective comes on. You don't have to keep your earphones up.
Okay. I could hear him clearer though when he was talking right now.
No, that's good.
I can hear you clearer. Yeah, I'm like,
all right. No, whatever works for you, cool. You can keep them on. I would say you didn't have to.
No, I'll listen. Yeah, but I couldn't hear it
good.
clear.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was into it. I was
So back,
Bonnie.
They called him CS2 back, and he was a low-level drug dealer. So the fact that he was a low-level drug dealer, he had never saw. Then the police came on like, yeah, they told us that he had the bricks at first. Whoever put a stutter box, I think, had told the police like, hey, he got the bricks, he got guns, he got all this shit. He strapped up, he got bricks. So they go hit, they don't got bricks. So this is how you get left in there as a low-level drug dealer. So he keeps playing himself. Now, they don't have his name on any of this paperwork except for one sentence when they say CS2 back is trying to get in contact with DD. And that's Dale Dog, rest in peace. They said that he was trying to get in contact with him and they didn't never give him the number. And on the wiretap, it say, I don't fuck with the whack nigga. Don't give him my number. So he like, oh, nigga, that mean he wasn't saying whack. He was saying the whack nigga, like the bullshit nigga. Like, you get what I'm
like
saying?
Using the word whack.
Yeah, using the word whack. But he also had a conversation with somebody named Mark Stevens, Marky Mark, who's also on the case. And he was like, remember, I just was calling you, nigga, trying to get on the three-way. I never asked for his number. I was trying to get a three-way to Dale Dog. And
Okay.
So you're denying being this confidential source, CS2 back. But you're not denying trying to get Dale Dog's number in the same exact motions that the paperwork is saying that you did.
Okay. I get it.
So what you're doing is you're admitting to being on that phone, being the person on the phone, but you're not admitting to being the confidential source. But it's no way that you could not admit because you're on the phone.
You're on the phone. That's confidential source 2 back. Brick figured it out. Hey, Brick, you be high off all kind of gang drugs and they talk bad about you, man. You good by me, Brick. Brick figured it out quick, right? Okay, that's Brick again. Wax speaks on confidential informant accusations. Okay, we got World Star. Hold on. Is this might be let me plug this up. Hey, Papa, get up. Let me plug this up. This might be I think I wanted to hear what Wackademic said. That's what I was looking for, right? This is Black Sabbath. What is Black Sabbath talking about? He said 15,000. Nah, we don't want to do Black Sabbath. I want to hear what Wackademics has said. You know what I'm saying? Wackademics. Brick Baby responds to Wack 100 saying, oh, he got mad about this one. Let's get to it. Maybe it was this one. 100. Nah, that's not it. Let's get rid of that one. Let's get to this one.
Star Hip Hop had just put this out, 16 out. Okay, today we got Wack 100. It seemed like the most people that are always talking about snitching, they be the main ones that snitching. But yeah, World Star Hip Hop had just put this out 16 hours ago.
On Shaq, he's completely right because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
WAC 100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse, has been exposed as a confidential informant in paperwork recently released by defendant Money Mark and.
Okay, so there you got that one. We're gonna close that one out. Let's see. I'm still looking for that. Still looking for that other one. The real reason WAC 100 reported World Star Hip Hop. This should be interesting. Hold on, let's see what they position was. See, I told y'all, man, when we go, my nigga. We gonna break this shit down. Y'all gonna get about a whole 35, 40 minutes.
WAC 100 is reportedly suing World Star, or at least the people involved with World Star above them or whatever, because WAC 100 is saying that he doesn't like to sue bloggers and stuff like that, but he's saying he will sue the parent company. So I guess this involves World Star, and it looks like he got that video removed when they talking about WAC 100 is an informant. So he got that video taken down, and he's saying that he's going after them. He said he wanted to wait till the numbers went up, so he waited till they had millions of views, and then he said, okay, now let's go, so that the damages will be more. He's trying to get a bag up out of them. And, you know, I didn't even get a chance to watch the video. I was about to watch it, and I saw that it looks like that video's removed now.
Hold on. Oh, the video's removed now. But he didn't even watch the video. You're out of here, buddy. I was just finna shout you out too, bro. You know what I'm saying? I was just about to shout you out. Okay, let's go. What's this short? Let's see what this short is about.
So, do y'all think
Did he just say
is a snitch? World Hip Hop removes documentary on WAC 100 allegedly being an informant after WAC filed for defamation. Y'all let me know in the comments below. Do y'all think WAC 100?
Hey, shout out Slime TV 420. Hey, bro, just for not being able
World
to
Hip Hop removes documentary on WAC 100 allegedly being an informant.
Nigga. You know what I'm saying? And I followed him, man. Salute to the Viva la Raza, brother. Okay, here we go right here. WAC 100 got paperwork. And this is going to be on DJ Academic. Oh, I want y'all to see, because he's next up to get fried on Hip Hop Police Docu-Series. So we want y'all to be able to see how they stick together and come together like two boot cheeks. I mean that figuratively and literally. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
They deleted that. Documented call WAC. They exposed WAC in paperwork. Is it this? Let's see.
Go Figure TV. Back WAC is over. Yes.
They thought was up under my name. I had a living beyond the means excuse to come in there was all up on the different corporations.
WAC is claiming that FBI did not know his house was not in his name before entering his home, and once they found his paperwork.
Hold on, let me see if I can find this. Is it this?
Jones.
WAC 100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse, has been exposed as a confidential informant in paperwork recently released by defendant Money Mark and Stutterbox. Before we play the recording of Money Mark, who was the main defendant in this case, confirming WAC is back, let's take a look back to when WAC himself spoke on this case and admitted to meeting with the feds and also saying they owe him a favor.
Once they hit my motherfucking home office, that's when they called the search off. Because in the home office, he then discovered the house and cars and everything they thought was up under my name. That had that living beyond the means excuse to come in there was all up under different corporations.
Whack is claiming that FBI did not know his house was not in his name before entering his home, and once they found his paperwork in his home office, they called off the search. How does the FBI not have this information prior to search warrant?
My attorney, we go down to the federal building on Wilshire Boulevard, right down to 405. We go up top. Now, I get up top, I'm tripping, nigga. So when I tell the motherfuckers, hey, look, y'all raided my house. Y'all had motherfuckers cuffed up in my house. Y'all did all this shit, you know, and y'all know damn well I was clean. Y'all embarrassed me. This, that. We filed the suit.
My house.
When we get outside with my attorney, 2 officers that's depicted in there came to the front of me and my attorney said, hey, look, man, let this shit go. This shit gonna fuck. You know, this ain't gonna look good on us. We didn't know you. That boy put us on you, right? But we owe you one.
Whack is explaining going down to the federal building tripping and basically the detectives telling him on the spot that Stutterbox told us on you. This seems a little odd that detectives would give up someone who is supposedly working for them name, and also beg to drop the lawsuit and let us owe you a favor. Whack has told this story on several occasions, changing it up a little each time.
When I got up to the top floor, we went to go get my personal belongings, me and my attorney, when I saw the 2 women with that FBI flag jackets come out, that Stutterbox would always invite to dinner when we was eating at Stevie's on the strip. That's when I knew what time it was. When we come off the elevator, I see a bunch of people in FBI flag jackets. Guess who one of the persons I see? The fucking female from New Orleans that asked about the 5 keys.
Sounds like a scene from Power. Was it 1 or was it 2 women? Now Whack 100 decides to use his favor the detective promised him and calls it in. Listen to how easy it is for Whack 100 to get the information. These is words coming from Whack, and like he always says, the truth could never be considered disrespect.
I'm sitting back, I call my attorney. I said, hey, yo, call that officer. I need to have a word with him. Yo, didn't you say that Stutterbox is a cooperant for you? Yeah. Documented on paper. Yeah, documented. He's a CI. Been that for 6-7 years. You got the paper and all, whatever y'all use. Yeah, we got that. Okay, yo, contact this dude. Have them call Stutterbox to the stand. Yeah, I called it in that day, and I did sue, but I used the card and that was it.
Stutterbox alleges that Whack 100 was caught on a wiretap with Dale Dog conspiring to commit murder. This is why his house was raided and led him to working with the police's back. Stutterbox explains to Duse M that Whack gave up his address.
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap with Dog, you know.
What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Like, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
won't take
Dog.
your call. And I sent it to you. And he
I
said,
talked to Dog. I talked to Dog. That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim. I was a victim.
There you have it. Whack admitting to being a victim on the case, talking to Dale Dog, and also saying Money Mark was completely right.
Dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Stutterbox said you in my paperwork on wiretap, right?
So Stutterbox confirmed that Whack was included in his paperwork
on the Main Street.
On the Main Street case,
which he wasn't charged. But this guy is saying the only person that was arrested
was Cash Jones.
If Greg's credibility hurts the findings of the entire task force or not?
I've had this ad blocker for 1 week, and it's already blocked over 1,000 ads. Meet Pi, a Chrome extension that blocks.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
When you get to discovery, was part of that the actual wiretap? The whole transcript. I got the whole transcript. The whole transcripts of the whole wiretap. And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation with Cash Jones in the transcript?
That was the initiating. That was the initiating when they started recording.
Right. Cash Jones.
In the paperwork they put him as that. BACK. And I kept asking
the wag boy in a minute.
The lawyers, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no back.
Nasty.
And they said, nah, that's Whack. So they put him in back because he a brother. So
wow.
All right, man.
Hey, if this is what y'all trying to get Wack down with, man, this shit was boring as hell, man. Wack ain't guilty, man. Like, I'm sorry to say, Wack is one of them niggas like, yo, he's like a cockroach, bro. Like, if you gonna come for him, you gotta come from the right. You gotta make sure you come from right. This shit looked like it was trying to put me to sleep, and unfortunately, who knows if they have any points in this, but I just don't care anymore. I'm sorry to say. So again, if someone has succinctly a way to put this out and they have like personal testimonies rather than be like, yo, ask somebody else, I would gladly hear them out. But honestly, at this point, I don't really have anything to say about that shit.
Damn, y'all didn't hear shit I said. My bad, I had muted up. So he's saying that he's bored and that he would you have the AI voice and it has to be presented better. If anybody presents it in a different manner. Now, the facts of the matter have to be presented in a certain manner for you to be entertained enough to even listen to the facts that this dude was a confidential source. You didn't just hear Michael Coet saying that Wack was the only one arrested right after Wack said he was never arrested. You don't see that this person that I was interviewed was the same voice that you hear Wack 100 recorded and he confronting Wack saying in the paperwork. Maybe we was watching and listening to two different things, but we'll get into that right now. Just so that, let me see, I think we got it ready. Yeah, we definitely got it ready. And this is the viral World Star hip-hop video. This is what all of this was about. We'll get into that. I'm going to break it down, and then we'll get into the $5 million demand for payment that I filed. As we already told you what Wack was doing, and we'll also give you I gotta take the dogs out to piss and shit or whatever they gotta do. You know what I'm saying? So let's go to the viral hip hop video, Damu Kiwe Conversations. Shout out to my brother. Yeah.
Dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
Wack 100, most famously known for arguing on Clubhouse, has been exposed as an confidential informant in paperwork recently released by defendant Money Mark and Stutter Box. Before we play the recording of Money Mark, who was the main defendant in this case, confirming Wack is back, let's take a look back to when Wack himself spoke on this case and admitted to meeting with the feds and also saying they owe him a favor.
But once they hit my motherfucking home office, that's when they called the search off. Because in the home office, he then discovered the house and cars and everything they thought was up under my name, that had that living beyond the means excuse to come in there, was all up under different corporations.
Wack is claiming that FBI did not know his house was not in his name before entering his home, and once they found his paperwork in his home office, they called off the search. How does the FBI not have this information prior to search warrant?
My attorney, we go down to the federal building on Wilshire Boulevard, right up to 405. We go up top. Now, I get up top, I'm tripping, niggas. So when I tell the motherfuckers, hey, look, y'all raided my house. Y'all had motherfuckers cuffed up in my house. Y'all did all this shit, and y'all know damn well I was clean. Y'all embarrassed me, this, that. We filed in the suit. When we get outside with my attorney, two officers that's depicted in there came to the front of me, and my attorney said, hey, look, man, let this shit go. This shit gonna fuck. This ain't gonna look good on us. We didn't know you. That boy put us on you, right? But we owe you one.
Wack is explaining going down to the federal building tripping and basically the detectives telling him on the spot that Stutterbox told us on you. This seems a little odd that detectives would give up someone who is supposedly working for them name.
and also begged to drop the lawsuit and let us owe you a favor. Wack has told this story on several occasions, changing it up a little each time.
When I got up to the top floor, we went to go get my personal belongings, me and my attorney, when I saw the two women with that FBI flag jackets come out, that Stutterbox would always invite to dinner when we was eating at Stevie's on the Strip, that's when I knew what time it was. When we come off the elevator, I see a bunch of people in FBI flag jackets. Guess who one of the persons I see? The fucking female from New Orleans that asked about the 5 keys.
Sounds like a scene from Power. Was it one or was it two woman? Now Wack 100 decides to use his favor the detective promised him and calls it in. Listen to how easy it is for Wack 100 to get the information. These is words coming from Wack, and like he always says, the truth could never be considered disrespect.
I'm sitting back, I called my attorney. I said, hey, yo, call that officer, I need to have a word with him. Yo, didn't you say that Stutterbox is a cooperant for you? Yeah, documented on paper. Yeah, documented, he's a CI. Been that for 6-7 years. You got the paper and all, whatever y'all use. Yeah, we got that. Okay, yo, contact this dude, have them call Stutterbox to the stand. Yeah, I called it in that day, and I did sue, but I used the card and that was it.
Stutterbox alleges that Wack 100 was caught on a wiretap with Dale Dog conspiring to commit murder. This is why his house was raided and led him to working with the police's back. Stutterbox explains to Duse M that Wack gave up his address.
His house got raided because he was on the wiretap with Dog, you know.
What is Mark saying I had to do with the case, bro?
Wack, listen, in the paperwork, it said you tried to call Dog, remember?
I tried to
and he
call
won't take
Dog.
your call. And I sent it to you. And he said,
I talked to Dog. I talked to Dog. That whole Main Street shit, that was your play. I had nothing to do with it. I was a victim. I was a victim.
There you have it. Wack admitting to being a victim on the case, talking to Dale Dog, and also saying Money Mark was completely right.
Dude that spoke on Shaq, he's completely right, because I was caught up in the middle of all that.
Hey, yo, hit that like button, subscribe if you already did. Told y'all, the hottest podcast, voice of the culture.
You can't predict sick days, but with Kleenex, you can.
Stutterbox said you in my paperwork on wiretap, right?
So Stutterbox confirmed that Wack was included in his paperwork
on the Main Street.
On the Main Street case,
which he wasn't charged. But this guy is saying the only person that was arrested
was Cash Jones.
If Greg's credibility hurts the findings of the entire task force or not?
Well, first of all, there were no arrests made other than Cash Jones.
But when you get the discovery, was part of that the actual wiretap? The whole transcript. I got the whole transcript. The whole transcripts of the whole wiretaps. And do you, in that paperwork, do you see your conversation with Cash Jones in the transcript? That was the initiating. When they started recording. Right.
Damn.
And Cash Jones. In the paperwork they put him as back. BACK. And I kept asking
the Wag boy in a minute.
The lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no back.
Nasty.
And they
way.
said, nah, that's Wack.
Oh.
They put him in back because he a brother. So
wow.
Okay. Was this back also referred as confidential source number 2? Yes, sir. Correct. Well,
that's nasty work. We don't even need to play no more of that. You got
met him with the homie Stutterbox. That's how I first came to meet Wack, was through the homie Stutterbox, right? When I met him, dude was driving trucks, seemed to be cool. Box was like, yo, this was his neighbor across the street. He seemed to be cool. When Stutterbox defected, Wack picked up the phone and was basically being the interim, the middleman, because he was telling me the Stutterbox was defected. And I was like, okay. But my whole thing is, if he defected, So he says that Stutterbox defected, and then you get some phone calls asking to speak to someone else, right?
Yeah, he called me. He called me, man. It was a series of calls, 4 or 5 calls. He wanted to reach out to the homie, rest in peace, Dale, though. And I don't give out nobody now.
Right.
So I called the homie, Dale, dog. I'm like, yo, homie, you want to holler at this dude or what? Because you keep calling me. And he was like, nah, I'm good on that. I don't want to holler at dude.
So at some point, you get a
Oh, you don't
call
want to do no hollering?
Wax 100, Cass Jones.
Hell no.
And when he contact you, what did he contact you concerning?
He wanted to reach out to Dale Dog, rest in peace. And he wanted to give Dale Dog some information that he had gotten from Stutterbox, right? It's like he was getting information from Stutterbox on what his plan was and what the get down was going to be. And he wanted to talk to the homie and talk to him. And Dog wasn't getting on the line with him. And he kept blowing me up because he wanted me to get him on the line.
Right. Smart man. Rest in peace to Dale Dog, man. So he's talking about the phones is being compromised. Is that one of the things that he told you?
Well, the homie Dale Dog never trusted dude. Follow me?
Right.
So Dog didn't know was the lines compromised or was they wired up for sound or not. He just wasn't going to chance it.
Now let's jump into 2 more situations Wack 100 himself discussed about his encounters with the FBI.
Feds just called my phone 2 hours ago.
What they were talking about?
I seen the shit, right? So first, I've been trying to get gang passport cleared. I said, maybe it's the, the passport people, right? So I said, I ain't gonna answer. Let me put the recorder on, then call. I called back. Niggas straight feds. So they asked me, have I been threatened? I said, what? Threatened by what are you talking about? They talking about the boy, right? So that let me know they on his line. They didn't heard something.
Information has been provided that you've had some disagreements with Mr. Prince. Are you familiar with him?
I know who he is, but I don't have no issues with Mr. Prince.
Look how he spelled bureau, B-R. He misspelled it. That's his call.
Disagreement. I don't know how that factors in the FBI.
Well, I think Mr. Jones, all the YouTube videos going back and forth with him calling you a snitch and you calling him one and all of that would be where we received information that there was possibly a disagreement.
Wack hired a crisis actor to impersonate the FBI. He posted a screenshot of his call log and bureau was spelled wrong. Was this Wack way of alerting the authorities he has issues with J. Prince? Wack has threatened 9,000 people on the internet, threatened to put a bag on people's head, claim he supplied guns to gangs.
Them same niggas you talking about when they went to war, guess who they had to come see to get their tools, bro?
He gets away with all of these crimes.
Why would the FBI be calling a big-time gangster like Wack 100 to make sure he's okay? Unless there is a relationship between the two parties which could have started when the felon was caught in Texas with firearms. Wack has accused rapper T.I. of snitching for only serving 1 year for illegal firearms, claiming that there was no way he could have only got that little time without telling. Wack 100 alone with his brother was arrested in Texas for unlawful carrying of a firearm by a felon. There was never a court date, no discovery on file, just a brief in support of motion to suppress. The case was dropped in 2011 in the interest of justice. Wack needs to do what he asked everyone else to do. Produce the paperwork, not just the order to dismiss. Explain how a felon gets caught with guns crossing state lines. What happened to your co-defendant?
Let's go. That's what all the big old fuss was about. That right there, corner Wack 100 to a point that the pressure, he knew he had to take that video down by any means necessary. So I told you what he said, that in his lawsuit to World Star Hip Hop, those were the statements he cited that were defamatory. I was able to basically shoot them down without even have to go through all of this, but we're going to go through it today. This will be one of the last times I ever try to speak on WAC 100. Now remember, people on Clubhouse have said all you got to do is bring Greg Kading. That was where the goalpost was at. Then bring Money Mark Stevens. I brought Money Mark Stevens, and that wasn't enough. Now, mind you, these same police we're talking about that's running this investigation, you got to remember who we're dealing with. He brings Greg Kading and Reggie Wrong Jr. You know what I'm saying? But remember, these are the same police officers that they got working this case that's working the Tupac and Biggie murder investigation. Tupac murder weapon should be in LA. Detective says Vegas rejected it. A handgun, cops say, was used to kill Tupac Shakur, which mysteriously disappeared 11 years ago, should be in the hands of the LA Sheriff's Department, according to the detective who was on the case. TMZ broke the story. The 40 caliber Glock that was found in Compton backyard in 1998. It was according to Doc's LA Sheriff Department detective, Timothy Brennan, right there, and Ladd, right? Brennan and Ladd, who worked for Reggie, Wright Sr., was the guy who ordered the ballistic testing, which revealed it was used in Tupac's murder. Brennan, who's now retired, tells TMZ there should be no mystery about where that gun is now, and for everyone follow protocol. So now you're admitting that they didn't follow protocol when it came to an alleged murder weapon that matches the ballistics to Tupac's murder. What a coinky dink. He gave the gun to ATF agents who conducted the testing. Once it came up a match in a federal law enforcement database, he says ATF sent it to Las Vegas cops. Now here's the rub. Brennan says law enforcement in Vegas didn't believe it was a match. He says he was never told why they reached that conclusion, but they rejected the weapon. Brennan says what should have happened next is the ATF to send it back to LA. As we reported, the document dug up by producers of A&E's Who Killed Tupac says a federal prosecutor recommended the gun not be turned over to Vegas, but Brennan insists it was. Oh my God. Now, mind you, they're saying that gun wasn't the 40 Glock that killed Tupac. They found that at a Compton house digging up a yard. But Brennan and Ladd wanted it to be admissible as evidence. Oh, Keefe D lawyers should have a ball with that evidence. So that's 140 Glock. Then there was another alleged 40 Glock, which ATF and FBI undercover agent said matched them. The one that they got from Fatal Hussein at the House of Blues. This is nasty work. These are the same cops involved in this investigation, involved in this task force, where evidence is coming up missing, murder weapons coming up missing, and one of the alleged 40 Glocks that was supposed to have been the murder weapon, Vegas rejected. The other one that was supposed to be the murder weapon, Reggie Wright said he gave to his father. That was the gun from Hussein Fatal. Let's get into this real quick. Nasty work. Let's go to Greg Kading. Let's hear what he says about the Deja 34 investigation. This is conversation. Let's go.
Brainstorming is my superpower, not organization. So Canva Whiteboards gets all my ideas.
Shout out AGTV. Oh, they're gonna hate.
I always wondered about this. Your connection. What's the story with behind Whack 100, aka Cash Jones, Shaq, Stutterbox, and yourself?
Well, I only know, all of those guys through the investigation. I know of all of them because of this ongoing investigation. It took, 3.5 years. So Stutterbox was the beginning of it, right? He came forward because he had been, prior to me meeting with Stutterbox, us meeting with Stutterbox, me and Darren Dupree, he was involved in these extortion attempts towards Shaq, because he had been.
So Darren Dupree and Greg Kading are who met with Stutterbox. Let's go.
Hooking up with, allegedly, with Shaq's old lady. And then he was trying to extort money out of Shaq, saying that he was going to release, photographs or, compromising, things about Shaquille. And Shaq had a friend that I think his name was Mark Turner or something like that. Don't hold
Mark Stevens. You know what his name is.
me to that name, but I think his name was Mark Turner, a guy from Atlanta. And that guy, Mark, knew the shot caller, the head guy for the gang that Stutterbox was associating with, which was the Main Street Crips. And his name was Del Dog. And so, Shaq's like, man, this clown's trying to extort money from me, blah, blah, blah. He tells Mark. Well, Mark reaches out to Del Dog and says, man, you gotta square your guy away. Can you deal with Stutterbox? Tell him to knock this shit off. So Del Dog and the Main Street Crips go and they discipline and threaten Stutterbox.
They discipline and threaten Stutterbox. So he believes that there was some actual crime that was called from Mark Stevens and Shaquille O'Neal upon Stutterbox. But he's the one that says Stutterbox wasn't a believable witness because he didn't want to admit that he was a confidential source. This dude's such a
Stutterbox is scared for his life, so he goes running to law enforcement. So law enforcement gets involved in him. Then during that process, he mentions that, he knows something about Biggie's murder.
So now, this is Detective Greg Kading saying Stutterbox said he knew something about Biggie's
He tells us there's this guy named Cash Jones.
He says there's this guy named Cash Jones who knows something about the Biggie murder.
He's a big dope dealer for Suge Knight. He's a truck driver. So we're like, oh shit, okay, well, that's interesting. If we can get some leverage like that on Suge.
If we could get some leverage like that on Suge.
Like a Keefy D thing, right?
Like a Keefy D thing. If we could flip Whack 100, who has this information on Suge.
Right. And so we go and start investigating Cash Jones, and we spend months, and it becomes very, very clear he's not doing anything other than working his ass off.
It becomes clear he's not doing anything but working his ass off as he starts to turn over, looking at what are probably notes that he wants to make sure he could do to clear up CS2 Back's informant.
Pushing his truck, trying to get some magazine off the ground, and he's just hustling. He's certainly not dealing any dope. And so we realize that Stutterbox is just feeding us his bullshit. In fact, Stutterbox goes so far as to tell us, hey man, this dude's house is loaded with weapons. It's like Beirut.
It's like Beirut and Wax homes. It's loaded with weapons. Remember, Wax said he sells guns and supplies Crips with guns so Crips can kill other Crips. Remember, Big U and all of these guys got to go through him, right?
In there, it's he's got all kinds of illegal weapons. So we do a search warrant at the house. Of course, don't come up with shit.
Wow.
And so eventually we, contact Cash Jones and Whack, and it's like, hey man, here's the story. This is why we're here. Kind of fucked up. Sorry. We're being led on by this individual who claims you were doing all these things. And so we're washing our hands of it all, and that's it. That's how Stutterbox, was dealing with some extortion bullshit. Shaq.
So he admits that it was extortion, but that's not a crime.
Turns us on to Cash Jones.
The FBI has no problem because with Stutterbox extorting Shaquille O'Neal or attempted to extort Shaquille O'Neal with Cash Jones. And Stutterbox states in his statement to the police, read the paperwork, that he sent Cash Jones for this extortion attempt. But I guess they don't have a problem with these type of people that are working with law enforcement extorting others.
Which turns into an absolute wild goose chase, waste of time, and it's the story.
How does the relationship end with Stutterbox and Shaq, or how does that resolve?
It doesn't go anywhere. There's nothing there. It's just a bunch of, if Stutterbox is a really interesting character. He may be one of the.
There was nothing there. Stutterbox was an interesting character. So now he does trust me. Stutterbox, oh my God, he's a handful just talking to him, right? His constant spinning and deflecting is clear. But that doesn't mean that facts about what you just called extortion didn't exist. You got him and Whack 100 sending the message, trying to get some money, threatening to release a sex tape to TMZ. So you want to undermine Stutterbox? Well, I think he does a good job at that. You don't got to keep pointing to that. But to say that there was nothing, these dudes are all on the phone placing themselves on the wiretaps at the crime scene, discussing facts about the case that you guys never gave them on the wiretap. So if anything, they had enough to convict of an extortion attempt and of retaliation, which he's saying Mark Stevens told Del Dog to do. Nasty word. But the FBI, the LAPD don't see this as a prosecutorial crime. And the sheriffs argued with Greg Kading about that because they wanted to prosecute it. But he wouldn't allow it to happen. But remember, he don't want this prosecutorial, these cases, an investigation prosecuted because Stutterbox is telling him Whack has the information on Biggie Smalls' murder.
Worst people that I've ever come across. And so far as how devious he is, I wish we'd have known all of this, in the beginning, but it's things that we learned in hindsight. So, that thing was never going to go anywhere. He was hoping that Shaq would chip him off some money and make the whole thing go away. But Shaq was.
Stutterbox and Whack were hoping that Shaq would chip them off some money.
Like, nah, I'm not going to get extorted by this fucking clown.
Right.
But it definitely was an extortion attempt with Shaq and Cash Jones. Cash Jones being the one to take that message to Shaq is one overt act in furtherance of a conspiracy. Conspiracy is two or more people coming up and agreeing to commit a felony and one overt act being done. This is conspiracy to commit extortion and blackmail.
Wow. That was a great story, huh?
Yeah. It was interesting.
Yeah, because I was wondering how did that fit? Because I know I saw it in one of the episodes of Unsolved. You went on. His character was pulled up in a Rolls Royce and everything.
So exactly the way it was. He was driving one of the very first day we met him at a Starbucks up in West Hollywood. He pulls up in a Phantom Rolls Royce, and So living in a really nice house and wearing all kinds of bling. So it's a really interesting thing. But he gets it all through, criminal misconduct.
Right.
So the informant is doing all of this stuff with criminal misconduct. Nasty work. He hates Stutterbox. Stutterbox said on the wiretap that he got a crooked cop up in his pocket. That essentially he was paying off Darren Dupree. So that's on the wiretap, and they could not mess off the Biggie murder investigation, especially with the allegations Darren Dupree already had against him. About the little bullshit he was doing, illegally accessing LAPD computers, cloning phones. There was a lot. Let me see. All right. Much he did. Hold on. Oh yeah, that's right there. That's what I wanted to do. We gonna get right to it. Hold on. Yeah, let's get into it then. I think this is it. Is that it? No, that's not it. I think it's this one. Yeah, let's listen to this one. I think this one. We could break them down one by one. Let's cut. It's time to cut.
Dude says, well, we still got your client on two different situations.
This is
like,
police.
Is that right? We'll put him on the table. We walking out of here.
So Wack is with his lawyer. He's on the 64th floor of the FBI headquarters on Wilshire. And what he said is the 64th floor. I don't know how accurate that is. I don't even know if that building has 64 floors. But he said he went up, and this is where he's in a conference room. You don't got to believe me. I'm going to prove and let him tell you that he's in a conference room. When he said he was going to pick up the belongings that they took from his house, but when they got alleged gun charges, that's not his house. Pay attention to the lies that we weave.
Right. So first situation, he said, well,
Greg Kading and Darren Dupree is telling them what they got on them. They telling him and his lawyer. Mind you, this is April 27th. Wax. The warrant was served on April 25th, which was Friday. Sunday, now Wack 100 claims he's going to pick up the stuff they took from his house, and he has his lawyer with him. Why would you need your lawyer to do that in the first place? But instead of picking this up, he ends up into a conference room where he sees 6 to 8 FBI feds and the head dude, and he's talking to him, and they telling him, this is what we got on you.
On two different situations.
Two.
Like,
we got your client on two situations.
Is that right? We'll put him on the table. We walking out of here. Right. So first situation, he said, well, we found firearms in the house, and he's an ex-convict.
We found firearms in the house, and he's an ex-convict. So this is what the people that raided his house, this Joint Task Force, is telling Wack 100 2 days after they raided his house. Maybe he was arrested that day, bailed out. We need Wack 100 we need to check those days. Matter of fact, I'm gonna call and do that before this airs. But they're saying you're ex-felon in possession of guns.
Felon, he can't be around firearms, right? So I stopped my attorney. I said, well, you ain't found no firearms in my house. He said, yes, we did. These firearms and such and such. I said, well, I ain't never seen them firearms in my life. He said, well, they registered to your wife. I said, well, what they got to do with me? He said, well, that's your wife. I said, okay, well, what they got to do with me? He said, well, you live in a home. I said, you can't prove I live in that home. right? What you got some cars that's registered to a corporation. Matter of fact, I said, can I go in my back pocket? I pull my wallet out, I slide my wallet. What's this? That's where I live. I've been a resident of Oklahoma since 2003. I got 13 houses on my portfolio. Which one you gonna put me in various states?
So here you got CS2 back. Spin, spin, spin. And it be sounding good on Clubhouse, and you can get it away with the Oscar Mayer Mafia. You know what I'm saying? You can get away with it with the Oscar Mayer Mafia. But what you can't get away with it is with those who understand the law and those. So they saying they got a gun. So this is one felony that they said they got a gun. His argument why he's talking to the task force, which sounded so good that they wouldn't arrest him, right? Or if they hadn't already arrested him, but so that he doesn't get prosecuted, right? In the state of California, what constitutes your residency at home? Okay, here it go. To meet these requirements, you must be continuously physically present in California for more than 1 year, 366 days, immediately prior to the residence determination date, generally the first day of classes, and intend to make California your home permanently. What makes someone a resident in your home? A person's legal residence can be determined by their physical presence and their settled connection to a place, because either because it is their home or because the law designated such. How does California determine primary residency? Factors to consider when determining a person's principal residence or domicile, in addition to where the owner of the property resided during the year, including such indices as the filing of income tax returns in the state of voter registration, the state of vehicle registration. Hold on. Can we even pull this up? And then 2 weeks within a 6-month period could be considered a tenant and must add to these lease agreements. So do you believe that he doesn't have that? Oh, and where your wife or children have residence. His wife was handcuffed. His kids were residents in 2007, 8, whatever year that was, they raided. So yeah, he's saying that he was able to prove that he wasn't a resident of California, and that's why he can't be held. Those guns that they found, he said it was one gun, but we got proof that it was 2 guns, or it was more than 1 gun. So let's get to that. We'll get to that next. We're gonna go through all of these. And we're almost on 3 hours. Let's go. So the gun is one thing they telling them they got on him. When after searching his house, they're telling him he's an ex-felon in possession of firearms. Let's go.
Second thing they had against me, they press play, wiretap.
Second thing they said they had against me, they press play, wiretaps. So he's sitting down talking to these people and they're recording. That means he waived his Miranda rights. His attorney and him waived their Miranda rights at FBI headquarters talking to the feds and Greg Kading and Darren Dupree. Let's go.
This is why I know when I hear certain wiretaps was conspiracy, how they get you.
This is how I know about certain wiretaps. certain conspiracies, they'll get you. Yeah, why don't you explain a little bit more? Because Stutterbox is saying you was on wiretap giving up his address, which would be conspiracy to murder, right? Let's go.
They got me on the phone. Said, yeah,
the feds are telling him we have you on federal wiretap on the phone. On the phone doing what?
What you got? Said, we got a special move. Where it's coming from? Down by National City, down by Tijuana, Mexico.
Wack said that the feds are believing that his phone call about picking up some trucks on his trucks or picking up some cars on his truck is what they believe was a wiretap. Get the fuck out of here, nigga. You think the feds didn't set up a sting move? Like, you must got the feds fucked up. They don't come and get you till they got you. You know what I'm saying? At this point, they showing you what they got because they're sure they lined you up on the wiretap on purpose. And you're going to work with them or you're going to go do this time. This is why you waived your Miranda rights.
Oh, yeah. All right.
This is why they're recording.
It's going to be kind of heavy, but, you know, it'll pay you 22, 23,000 one way. Where it's going? Seattle area, Seattle, Bellevue, Tacoma, multiple stops, you know, get it to them.
Now, mind you, they know and they had him under surveillance for months. Stutterbox told him where he parks his truck. You think they came without the smoking gun? The feds? Darren Dupree? With the leads that Stutterbox gave him? That pretty FBI girl who wanted the 5 keys?
Before they closed, and I was you straight. All right, no problem. I'll be down there to get it.
You chilling with the answers.
So they turned off the thing. They like, well, you know, our confidential informant has said you moving drugs for Suge Knight. I said, moving drugs for Suge Knight. Now, me personally, I've never heard Suge involved in the cocaine, the drug dealing, none of that shit. So I'm looking at it like they crazy because I know what recording they got. I said,
well, where's the recording? You said that they said they got the recording. What? This is the paperwork that clears your name. Bring the paperwork, bro. Bring the paperwork, nigga. Bring the audio. You telling us you waived your right, and the Fed said that they have wiretaps with you doing a drug deal. You convinced them that no, this was legitimate business. Bring that evidence. You can subpoena that. You're the only one that can. Why don't you do yourself a favor and get that? So now they said they had them on ex-convict and ex-felon in possession of a firearm or firearms, plural, which we'll prove to you guys. And they got you on a wiretap with a drug deal. Stutterbox said they got you on wiretaps, giving up his address, conspiracy to commit attempted murder. So we'll end this one. Let's break this down. Now listen to what Wack was saying. Wack 100 speaks on wife and divorce. This is nasty work. Let's get to this.
We really sitting here saying the nigga Wack name is back, and ain't nothing here that say Wack or Cass Jones, and even whoever this back dude.
Oh no, the paperwork definitely says Cass Jones. You brought the message. Stutterbox gave you up on that and implicated you that you the one that went and took the message to Mark Stevens and Shaq, and Mark Stevens confirmed that to the police in his statement. Cass Jones. And he's also saying that you were the one on the phone call asking for Del Dog's phone number and to speak to Del Dog because Stutterbox had told on you.
Dude is they're Back didn't even tell. Whoever Back is,
Wack say Back didn't even tell.
he ain't even tell. Right? So, and we sitting up in here debating some shit, and this nigga then brought the actual lead motherfucking officer in here and had the discussion for an hour on the floor. Right? What else we got? We got a divorce filing that never went nowhere and was never solidified. Right? We got that. What else we got? Will you see where the nigga TD or whoever this nigga is was telling him, all right, back. You heard what Wack said? What Wack say? Hey, bro, who the fuck is Back? Why the fuck you keep calling me Back? That's what I said. Who is Back, nigga? What else am I supposed to say?
That nigga said they got the audio where TD said, what's up, Back? What's up, Back? He didn't like that. TD was exposing his cover. I don't know no Back. Nigga, you know, you is Back. Nigga, the fuck you mean? So we could get off the academics. We could get off the, what was this? Oh, yeah, we got your client on two different things. The gun, ex-felon, possession of a gun. Second thing, wire. So we could close that one. We gonna go through all of these for y'all. So let's get to this one. Let's see what this is about. You know, Wack is all we do to expose the exposers is let their words hurt them and expose the paperwork. So he exposed how he met with speaks on how he met Stutterbox. Listen
to each other. Listen, my homies don't know where I'm at. I be out the way. Boom, boom, boom. My kids, look like my son or your son. So you know, let's keep this shit cordial amongst us. Whatever them niggas got going on, they got going on. Nobody never knew that.
Now that's crazy. That Wack confirms that Stutterbox told him, "Hey, look, none of my homies know where I live at." That's what Stutterbox told Wack when he met him, and they were neighbors. Let's keep it that way. And now Stutterbox is saying that Wack gave up his address when they shot up his car. This is nasty work, bro. Let's see, what is this? Oh yeah, we could close that one out too. Oh, we could go into what Stutterbox said also. Boom, we could close that. Let's go to this one. Why he didn't do it to... Let's go to this. Two says something about this nigga, man. We definitely going in. Cut.
I'm a resident even right now today, you stupid motherfucker. So if she's there with the kids and the utilities and everything's in her name and that's her legal gun, you can't
put that gun on me, homie. This is his argument. He's arguing with two for having common sense to know that nigga ex-felon can't be in the house with no gun. It's called constructive possession of a firearm. In fact, that's why they probably had his baby mom handcuffed, his wife, Kim, handcuffed, because that's a crime. Hold on. We finna get into that real quick. In California, constructive possession of a firearm. Boom. In California, constructive possession of a firearm occurs when someone doesn't physically hold the gun but has the ability to control it, such as in a car, home, or storage unit, even if not on their person. That constructive can a spouse, let's go to that, can a spouse be charged for giving access to ex-felon in California constructive possession. So let me read this to y'all before we keep cutting. Oh, this is cutting. This cuts real deep because this is the law in California. In California, a spouse who knowingly facilitates access to a firearm for an ex-felon, potentially enabling them to possess it constructively, can face criminal charges under aiding and abetting laws, which can lead to felony charges. Aiding and abetting: if a spouse knowingly assists an ex-felon in obtaining or possessing a firearm, they could be charged with aiding and abetting a crime, which could be a felony. Constructive possession: if a spouse allows an ex-felon to keep a firearm in the household, the ex-felon could be charged with constructive possession, even if the firearm is locked up. That's why they had Kimberly Jones in handcuffs. They would utilize that leverage to get him to flip and provide everything, you know, as well as the threat of him going to jail. So that's something else. Let's go. Whack 100 exposes Stutter Box for snitching. Here goes another clip.
And claim you wasn't a fucking informant, and in walks Greg Kading, which I orchestrated.
Let me fix this up. Boom. Here it go.
And claim you wasn't a fucking informant, and in walks Greg Kading, which I orchestrated that with Mark Stevens and my attorney. The only one came from that. You dropped the shit, we dropped the shit. I used it for that to help a certain individual out. I called my attorney, the attorney put Greg Kading and Mark Stevens together. They put that together to ask Box.
He said he put Greg Kading and Mark Stevens together so that they could beat the case. Well, that's not what Money Mark Stevens is saying about you. He said you working. I thought you didn't have nothing to do with the Main Street case or the Deja 34 investigation. Wasn't you Ray J's bodyguard or security at the time? Nasty work.
We're going to pull the paperwork. Have you ever been a confidential informant to work for the LAPD, the FBI, as a known snitch? He lied on the oath and said no. Greg Kading takes a stance, provides a document that this dude is in fact one armed informant. This, that. At that point, the judge looks at it. He perjured himself. Therefore, any allegations or any claims he's bringing on anybody is non and void. They drop the charges on these 7 Crips and let them go. So in a sense, this power roof freed the Crips. But, you know, my target was to help another individual out.
He said he helped Mark Stevens out with the police. Sound like the shit Stutterbox was saying he gonna help get Mike DeRoe off that case. What that's a real good thing. They're not the judge, they're not law enforcement. But this man saying he helps save 7 Main Street Crips. He put Greg Kading with Mark Stevens. No, nigga, you lined Mark Stevens up with Greg Kading with that wiretap, the initial wiretap. Let's get to this one, man. Let me see if y'all can see this. Oh, y'all can't. So let me go. We cut, man. We're going to cut through all of this. Then I'll break down the lawsuit.
And come to find out, I'm listening to these bozos. They said they kicked in my door and found 6 guns. The police officer said right here on the floor, did you find anything?
Oh, yeah, this is Whack Lion. Said he listened to
come
us.
To find
there
out,
was only 1 gun.
I'm listening to these bozos. They said they kicked in my door and found 6 guns. The police officer said right here on the floor, did you find anything in my house? Yeah, we found 1 gun. That was your wife's.
Said it was 1 gun.
Guys,
that was his wife.
Again, this proves
but even then, 1 gun would be his. But remember, he's this saying that it was 1 gun. And that's what Greg Kading said when he came to to Clubhouse? Why do you got the police vouching? Why won't you get bring the receipt? Like anytime they take some property from your home, they have to document it. Why don't you bring the receipt? So let's watch this.
That's Stutterbox. Watch this. That's Stutterbox. Watch this. You don't remember him saying, if you want to get to Suge, it's his nigga, he the closest thing to him, but he a truck driver? You don't remember?
He was talking about you? So Stutterbox told Greg Kading and them, if they want to get to Suge, the closest thing to him would be Whack 100. Well, Greg Kading just said that Stutterbox told them that Whack had some information on the Biggie murder. So they said, well, if we could flip him, then we could get the information. That's what happened. Let's go.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, I remember. Listen, I'm the motherfucker he talking about. Listen, you don't remember in there, he telling where I parked the truck and they went and put a tracking device on the truck? You don't remember they pulled this nigga over? They pulled him over and thought that he had something in the truck. And when they opened it up, it was a black driver. And the only thing back there was some girl magazines. Those were supposed to be straight stunt magazines. K-Slay magazine. All that was him lining me up. If you go get the book called Murder Rap and go to the chapter Stutterbox, you gonna see real pictures of me and Suge and the dude talking about the whole way.
That was the beginning and the end for Whack. Trying to claim that he saved these Main Street Crips by saying that Stutterbox lined them up. Let's get to this, because nobody knew at that time. In fact, Greg Kading in the movie, Greg Kading and them made sure that they changed the name of Whack 100 and the trucker in the movie Unsolved. But his big old ego, he wanted the world to know. And I think it was his conscience, because every day he got to wake up and remember and know he's a pussy and an informant. Let's go.
Homeowners Association is filing complaints against him because you guys came the way you came. His neighbors are frowning upon him. All this, we playing for the bag, right? So they turn off the thing. They like, well, our scum.
They turn off the thing. He's talking to the police. Listen. They turn off the thing being the recorder, which means they were recording. He's up there talking to the police, the feds, and they're recording.
Came the way you came. His neighbors are frowning upon him. All this, we playing for the bag, right? So they turn off the thing. They like, well, our confidential informant has said you moving drugs for Suge Knight. I said, moving drugs for Suge Knight. I don't understand this math. I know the world is changing. We got the LGBTQ community going on. They moving at a rapid rate. Are we getting to a point that get toll on? You got a video of it that toll on me and 7 of his homies. And that's supposed to do what to me? Help me understand. I'm just trying to understand. These was on contract getting checks for 7, 8, 9 years. And these was real gangster type, get money type. This is why, bro, I don't give a fuck about whatever your persona is. These are drop you off at midnight, get down the street, get pulled over, bumped up. And by the time they see you the next day, 12 noon, them got a whole nother job.
Deflect. Just because he told on you, if they caught you, don't mean you didn't tell on somebody else. It's kind of like how it works, right? So let's go to this real quick. Let me show y'all this real quick. We'll get back to that real soon. That's Stutterbox. So Whack 100 said Duse M made fake paperwork. Let's get into that.
These niggas.
Let's start that over for y'all.
These niggas went and created some fake work and add some back shit. Nigga, if you don't see that, use a bozo. I'm done talking about that shit. These niggas went and created some fake work and add some.
So his allegations to the paperwork is that them niggas, talking about me, went and created some fake paperwork and added the name back to it. So besides releasing the paperwork, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that y'all get to hear who he said was the lead police officer misleading y'all, Greg Kading. And he was interviewed by my partner in crime, Scandalous Los Angeles TV, me, the motherfucking gold. You know what I'm saying? And he confirmed and stood on the fact that the paperwork that he has says back or CS2 back. Hold on 1 second. Hello? Hello? Who is this? So look, let's get to this real quick. It won't take long because I'm hungry.
Put this in there this way because he's a blood, not a crip. It's not how it works.
I hear you, Greg. But even without them doing that, the conversation with Mark Stevens and Del Dog did actually take place. And Mark Stevens is saying the person who called him looking for...
Hold on. Let me...
Not gonna put...
So it's back. I said, oh, they put him...
Stevens is saying that Whack is who he was talking to.
But he's saying that that's back. He is saying that back is Whack.
How does Mark Stevens put that together? Show me how Mark Stevens has anything to substantiate that back is Whack.
We're going to start from the beginning. I want y'all to get the...
This is Whack. This is Cash Jones on the wiretap. What was I referred to in your... Because I've never looked over that paperwork. Never had a need to. What was I referred to?
Shout out Scandalous Los Angeles.
If Whack had nothing to do with Del Dog, Shaq, or any of the Main Street Crips, why would his name be being referred to in the paperwork at all?
So again, this is completely different investigation. We have to be real careful that we don't cross over these ideas, because when I said he would have been mentioned in the paperwork, if we're talking about Cash Jones's case, then we may have mentioned a CS, which would have been Stutterbox, saying these things about Cash that we investigated. There's that. Now, if Cash is asking me if his name was in the Main Street case, no, it wasn't. Now, if Cash is asking me if his name was in the Main Street case, no, it wasn't.
So we all know that Greg is not being...
Y'all see that? Ross was beaten up. Stevens later said he received calls from Ross's brother and Cash Jones. Stevens claimed no knowledge of the kidnapping. Down below, Stevens received the call from Cash Jones. Jones told him that Ross had a videotape of Shaq having sex with a woman, not his wife, at Ross's home, and that Ross could get a lot, could take the tape to TMZ and get a lot of money. Hey, I got the tape. This is Wax whole extortion and blackmail move. Him and Stutterbox. And this is Mark Stevens confirming what Stutterbox said. Stutterbox said he sent Wack to do that, and Mark Stevens confirmed that. Conspiracy to extort and blackmail.
Being truthful when he says that. We can clearly see Wack's government name, Cash Jones, all in this case. Hey, Christopher Love's boys, this shows you why you can't believe everything the police say. This also shows you that the police are protecting Wack, as they would any other confidential informant that's in good standing with them, unlike Stutterbox. But I want you to hear what Greg says right after he said Wack was not in the Main Street case at all.
There was no mention of Cash in the Main Street case. There was no mention of Cash in the Main Street case, other than when he's trying to get a hold of Mark Stevens and in order to tell him that Box is
been compromised.
Yeah, and that's what the wiretap transcript said. CS2.
He said the only time Cash Jones become a part of it is when he calls Mark Stevens trying to talk to Del Dog to tell him that Stutterbox is being compromised. And that's exactly what the wiretap that we exposed with CS2 back says. Now watch this.
Back, or Whack, was calling Del Dog to do. Not Del Dog, but Mark Stevens.
See what you just did, though?
Yeah, I said Del Dog.
You said CS2 Whack. It doesn't say that, does it?
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it say CS2 back?
Doesn't it say CS2 back? Greg Kading, who Whack said was the lead detective, who was the head of the Joint Task Force, just told Scandalous Los Angeles. Doesn't it say CS2 back?
No.
Yeah, I said Del Dog.
You said CS2 Whack. It doesn't say that, does it?
Yes, it does.
Doesn't it say CS2 back?
Yes.
Doesn't it say CS2 back? He was sure. He's arguing against Scandalous about what the paperwork says. And the Joint Task Force is telling you that the paperwork says CS2 back. On top of that, he's going to tell you who that is, clearly talking to Money Mark Stevens on that wiretap. So whoever talking to Mark Stevens on that paperwork that says CS2 back is CS2 back. Let's go.
Yes, it says CS2 back.
Okay, well, do you know what you just said?
What did I say?
CS2 Whack.
I meant CS2 back.
Because in your mind, and bear with me, no offense here, but I think you've already come to the conclusion that back is Whack, and that's why that's such an easy mistake to make.
Well, the reason I think Whack is CS2 back is because that's who Mark Stevens said he was talking to.
Well, nobody's disputing that.
So nobody's disputing that Mark Stevens is telling the truth about who he was talking to on that wiretap.
Disputing that Mark Stevens is saying that Whack is who he was talking to.
But he's saying that that's back. He is saying that back is Whack.
How does Mark Stevens...
No, it don't matter how, nigga. Nigga, it just matters that he knows who he was talking to. And who he was talking to and who called him to say Stutterbox went sour and the phones is compromised. The person CS2 back, the AKA the Whack boy, was Whack 100. That's all that matters. Not how he figured it out. And then listen to him. Eventually, he says, it's obviously
Stevens put that together. Show me how Mark Stevens has anything to substantiate that back is Whack.
In the paperwork they put him as back, BACK. And I kept asking the lawyer, like, who the fuck is? I ain't talked to no back. And they said, nah, that's Whack. But they put him as back because he a blood, so it's back. I said, oh, okay.
And was this back also referred as confidential source number 2? CS2 has provided reliable historical information concerning the mainstream Mafia Crip organization. I told y'all Whack don't know how to read paperwork. He can't even read his own paperwork right. Talking about CS2 back never snitched. Well, how did he provide reliable historical information concerning the mainstream Mafia Crip organization? He was defending it because he knew it was coming out that he was the rat. Look.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so no offense to Mark. He doesn't change spelling. We're not gonna...
But they don't do things like that. But we're all looking at a wiretap transcript where they did exactly that. They put a person named Back in the paperwork, and no one knows who Back is.
We don't change things in order to... So if Mark Stevens is thinking that, oh man, the cops just put this in there this way because he's a blood and not a Crip, it's not how it works.
I hear you, Greg. But even without them doing that, the conversation with Mark Stevens and Del Dog did actually take place. And Mark Stevens is saying the person who called him looking for Del Dog's phone number was Whack. Mark said he doesn't know anyone named Back. So why would they put some fake person that Mark has never ever talked to in the transcripts?
No, I get that. See, we are totally in agreement. The conversation is whack, obviously. The conversation is whack, obviously.
The conversation is whack, obviously. The conversation is whack, obviously. This is nasty work. So the paperwork does say CS2 back, and the conversation is obviously whack 100. Oh, this is nasty work, man. We got a couple more videos. I really want y'all to hear when he says he goes into the conference room to talk to these people. Remember, he's lied and said he was just going to go get the belongings they took from his home. But then remember, that's not his home. He lives in Oklahoma. Can't have it both ways, my nigga. You know what I'm saying? And so let's go up here. Okay. Oh no, that's the other one. Oh man, let's go here. We can just go from the top. Let's go here. What do you got? See what he got right here.
Eugene Henley said everything that was in that video snippet is authentic and he could prove it. They said, oh yeah, well, we have the lead investigator. We have clips from 2022 to show that was up on YouTube, which your team should have did is investigation. Did you know about this? No, we didn't. Well, it's...
Let's get this back started.
Eugene Henley said everything that was in that video snippet is authentic and he could prove it. They said, oh yeah, well, we have the lead investigator. We have clips from 2022 to show that was up on YouTube, which your team should have did is investigation. Did you know about this? No, we didn't. Well, it's proof that all this shit done been went over. This is the lead investigator. We pulled the documents, paperwork. They done falsified and forged documents and all kind of shit.
They done falsified and forged some documents. World Star, make sure he proved that we falsified and forged those documents. See, the same way Greg Kading got on the stand to protect him from having to expose he was CS2 back in the Main Street case because they needed him on the bigger case, which was the $400 million lawsuit for police having something to do with Biggie's unaliving. Same thing, make you smile, make you cry, nigga. Make him prove that I falsified documents. Make him prove. Put Greg Kading in on stand, take it to trial. Don't pay him $1. Take him to trial and charge his ass for attorney fees also, right? Put Greg Kading on the stand and ask him to bring all of the documents. Ask him, does it say CS2 back on the documents? Confidential source 2 back on that wiretap. Once it says that it was confidential source 2 back, now you have that proof and you know that that's him. Tell him to testify under oath that that's not Wack who called Mark Stevens on that call. He's going to have to tell the truth under oath, or he'll be guilty of perjury, right? Then you only got to ask him one other question. Well, then you just got to pull Detective Coet and Detective Fournier, the two sheriff partners, one of which who said Wack 100 was arrested, and get the whole timeline for us. We need the content. Hey, look, you got the content. World Star Hip Hop subpoena him for to testify that he never, under oath, that he never arrested Wack 100. We want the story, what was taken out the house, how many guns, every single detail that got to do with this. World Star, y'all got the key to the content, nigga. And once it come out, just like Adam 16 said, it was the journalistic nature of the documentary, right? That was brought into question. My integrity. Like we lacked the truth will be vindicated. Let's go.
Now they like, hold on, wait, you mean to tell me we're telling you the lead investigator of this situation went on this very same platform and said this man had nothing to do with nothing, he was a target. Can you send that? Yeah, here you go. This is 2022. You got, well, we would have known about this, we would have, well, that's not our fault that you didn't know about it. Then, you know, so now they're like, well, we'll get back with you. So you got them on the we'll get back with you rope.
That's cap. That's definitely not how that's about to go. Y'all believe that's how this is gonna go after I just pointed out what I did to y'all? Okay, so that's for the lawsuit. Okay, that's something different. Let's get to Detective Michael Coet. He said something on here. We just gonna cut all of this, and then we'll read the paperwork live. We'll read.
Who's now with the Sheriff's Department, as well as myself and my partner, Paul Fournier. Again, Timmy Brennan, Paul Fournier, and myself, and Bobby Ladd were involved originally after the Tupac murder with all the chaos that was going on in the Compton-Linwood area. For those that don't know, Compton and Linwood butt up to one another, and it's really no hard borders there. So it's it was a war zone for a couple weeks after the murder. And
so we can stop sharing that one. You can stop sharing that one. Okay, we could close that. Let me see. I think we got this one. Bear with me, man. Okay, let's see what else we got. Stutter box. What else we got? Let's go down to Shug's ex-girl. We're just gonna go through all of them, make sure that we don't miss nothing. This is 3.
Horror
Let's
crimes
get
on behalf
into
of
this.
Shug.
Key word, while Greg Kading is talking to Tanisha Swan, she's corroborating evidence that they already had, which means before Tanisha Swans says the name Poochie and comes up with that theory, it was already provided to Greg Kading by others, implicating Suge Knight in a conspiracy to kill Christopher Wallace, the notorious. That's a major if. That's a major if. So we got that. We're going to close that out. Okay, we got the live tonight. We'll get on there and watch that. And then, let me see. And where is that other video? That's crazy. I'll try to find it, but I think for right now, that's it. I'm finna go eat and then be prepared for the live. We'll get everything back down packed. Till then, 3 hours and 27 minutes. We done.